experience and earned his foundational training in teacher education before advancing to graduate school, completing a master's degree and later doctoral level work with focus on instructional technology and adult education. His CV it can qualify for 30 peer-reviewed journal articles. And so he's here, and we would like to appreciate Prof and invite somebody help Prof to take up the space. He'll be assisted to come up. Whilst Prof comes, I'd like to go on to the next panelist. Professor Charles Boabeng Andor we're also privileged to have him here, who is also an associate professor at the Department of ICT Education, also from the University of Education, Winneba. Professor Boabeng Andor has been the head of Department ICT Education, UEW, and he was also the head and senior lecturer at the Department of IT at the Pentecost University. Again, he has a long profile. Prof, we know you are great and you are most welcome. Please join us up here. Thank you very much. I have a personal philosophy. If you want to clap, you clap. So if we are clapping for him, let's clap for him. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Next panelist we have is Dr. Godfred Agbakpolo, who is a dedicated educationist and administrator currently serving as a payroll processing officer with the Ghana Education Service in Winneba. He's also a part-time lecturer at the College of Distance and E-Learning, that's CODEL, at the University of Education, Winneba, where he shares expertise with students. He holds a PhD in guidance and counseling from the same university. He has a long profile, but I would like to keep it short at this point. Doc, if you are here, please join us. We are also privileged to have Mrs. Nimatu Idrisu, who is the headmistress of the Accra College of Education Demonstration School here in Accra. She holds professional qualifications in education and has built a distinguished career as a teacher and administrator. With years of classroom and leadership experience, she has guided both staff and students toward academic excellence and discipline. Her work history reflects dedication to nurturing young learners and mentoring teachers in effective pedagogy. Known for her strong leadership qualities, integrity, and commitment to inclusive education, Mrs. Idrisu continues to inspire her school community, fostering innovation and collaboration and supportive environment for holistic student development. Let's receive Mrs. Nimatu Idrisu. To set the tone for the panel discussion is my own colleague and the PI for our project, which is actually putting this panel together, and he doesn't like to be introduced much. He's a senior lecturer at the School of Continuing and Distance Education and currently the coordinator for the University of Ghana Learning Center in Ho Chito. I almost said Aho. Ho Chito. Please, let's receive Dr. Gideon Mensah Anape. Ope fans ba. Please give it up to him.
Thank you so much, Hayford, and good morning to everybody. Welcome to this morning section. Hayford, he keeps my gate getting to Chito. He communities at Numbonso, so if I don't treat him well, he blocks the road. I can't get to my learning center. So anyway, my role this morning so I'll have the honor to share with you the experiences of the series scholars and the work we've done for the past 3 years post-COVID and the implications for teaching and learning, with the panelists here are more suited to share the lived experiences and the reflections in the community, but I will not be able to tell all the stories. But what we've done, we have a technical report that will be launched. Copies are available online, and we'll be able to pursue the conversation beyond here. Okay, so Sorry, can we go? Okay, thank you so much. So this is my slide. We're doing this, as the moderator said, as part of the 77 Annual Year School. We are privileged to be co-partners in this, telling the stories of human development and sustainability for the African child. But for our story, we represent the Global South. Operator, sorry. Sorry. Okay. Right, we're good to go. Right. So this journey, briefly, will be told how we came by the evidence generation to inform practice, and how we can make this work for the Ghanaian child. And that's our focus for this morning conversation. We thank the donors in this. But I will be glad to share with you the team that pursued this project. They are here. Professor Heto is here. Dr. Adama, he for himself is part of the team. It's okay, I can operate. That's fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Sorry. All right. So this is a team that was put together for this grant. And what is the whole project about? Post-COVID, the focus of the global community, the Global Partners Education, is to understand how children learning was part of the interventions nations pursued. But for the Global South story, we had a different conversation in terms of the sudden closure of schools, but oh my God, sorry. I need my slides, please. Thank you. Right, so make a story. So the issue of pandemic was on the mind of Jacob Foundation, the funders whose promise is to help children around the world to live quality life. But for much of the stories we know about education, the learning loss situation where Global South children are not benefiting, 7 out of 10 children in Sahara schools are not benefiting from the quality learning outcome. But even when they finish school, what skills are they living the school environment with? That is the focus between 5 and 10 years for Jacob Foundation. But they focus on how children are learning in the classroom using collaborative learning strategies from their teachers. But Jacob Foundation understands that children vary in multiple ways within group and context, and that these are the subjects for Jacob Foundation research project for the past 5 years from 2020 post-COVID. But the most important questions Jacob Foundation asks is, where would our children be working tomorrow? So all sitting here are in education. The content we deliver, the children we teach. Can we close our eyes and picture where they'll be working, what skills they are leaving our classrooms with? I think this is a question we ought to answer to support knowledge translation in our field. So if you hear this morning, $10.1 million were dedicated to this project to understand children learning after post-COVID. But this is not the good story for the Global South. And we at the University of Ghana represent the Global South story because the project was largely carried out in Europe, Americas, Mexico joined, and University of Ghana is the only Global South institution joined. But if I tell you how much came to this project, you understand the story of the breadcrumbs. Very minimal. But this is a continent that has 7 out of 10 children cannot read and write. And even the 3, only 1 can understand what he or she reads. That is a story from UNESCO assessing children learning. Okay, so what's our focus for this project? We focus on widening digital divide, how technology is rather exacerbating the inequalities in society. Because for much of what the story we came across was that with every kilobyte of programming that is designed or any software that is designed, the African is always behind. And that did not end there. We wanted to understand how learners with differential ability are also being catered for in the school system. and how are the African school programming a computer to support learning. But of course, as teachers, we focus on how we teach. Okay, so the method we use are quite interesting because in tech research, what we found out is that when you use surveys, teachers tell you all the good things about themselves. But we decided to combine this approach to see whether we have fidelity with the process of technology integration in the schools. So we went to the classroom ourselves. We observed teachers teach through vertical standard. Sending children are very difficult anyway in any system. So we went through all the vertical approach to do this. Okay. As I said, the report is here, so I won't go into detail, but I'll just share the highlight of our work to guide the conversation. Questions to be asked will be taken from here. So it's quite interesting moving around 102 classrooms to observe children learning within days. That's a lot of money to commit to research. So if you're a research student here thinking, oh, we're looking at Ghana, 4 regions, and you went to only 102 classrooms. In other words, your money will determine the volume of data you collect for such work. But we have rigorous statistical testing to do generalization, so we are covered in this respect. So, yeah, few results we want to share with you. We focus on basic 2, 4, and 6 because this is a school that the classes that the Ministry of Education wanted to, they tested from 2020-22 on competency learning with a new standard-based curriculum. So we wanted to use that as a yardstick to gauge children learning in Ghana. So if you see the regions that we traversed, Godfred was part of that project. He did a good job in the Volta region. Upper East, my favorite region. Right. We wanted to tell the stories of technology integration in the rural and urban communities. And you could see the focus of our project here. We captured more rural communities because the story told in the cities are quite differential in terms of access to technology. Okay, so these are the subjects we observed. Our focus initially was on STEM, but based on the school's timing, we captured much with the science and numeracy, literacy education from public and private schools. And we saw teachers in the classrooms, an interesting gap for the private schools with teachers' availability in the Ghanaian schools post-COVID. You realize that the early years of teachers' career, there were more private school teachers in the classroom in the early years, and as the year progresses, they drop out. So it tells you the attrition rate in the private schools. But the public schools, with the numbers still increasing, so we have the figure to tell yes, because experience is an important driver of teaching in the classroom. All right, so the informed analysis later. We wanted to see what computers are available. We know much from the literature. Private schools dominate access to computers. What we found out, which schools did not have computers, public schools dominated. Which schools had computers, private schools. But this is a small sample, but it tells the story across the 4 regions we studied. Okay. Teachers. Today, the push for technology integration is the handheld devices, the mobile technology. So we wanted to find out if the school did not have laboratories, the teachers have the tools to support children learning. Interestingly, the smartphone dominates this segment of the finding. Trolleys for male and females, I think at that time, because of the Ghana Education Service policy, teachers were given laptops, isn't it? So access was there. For few teachers, we interacted with the classroom. All right, but the gender disparity was not much of our interest because teachers have the same. Great. The focus then is how do we teach children to develop the core competencies for the 21st century? With the change of curriculum in the Ghanaian schools, from the former curriculum where teachers were told that the focus is on child-centered learning. So teachers learn new vocabularies, they learned the new program structure, how to teach. But the core competencies which is added to the new curriculum as a standardized curriculum, the focus is on achieving certain learning outcome, which are to be documented for children learning. But if we continue to teach children in the book and the textbook, that focus of competency training becomes a documented evidence in teacher's lesson note. We saw that. So the 102 classroom we visited, students sit in the Methodist Church classroom arrangement for predominantly most of the lesson. Even the schools that have computers, the computers were left to the ICT teacher, who takes the student to teach them about the keyboard, the mouse, the screen. So teaching about computers was a dominant thing we saw, not integration. So I'll leave that to my panel to educate us how we can achieve the learning outcome that the curriculum, you call it the key performance indicators, my teachers, right? You put them in your lesson plan. You list them nicely. The 6 core competencies, teachers can recite them for you nicely. Critical thinking, problem solving, communication skills, what again? You know them. But are you measuring these learning outcomes? That's why the curriculum, if we talk to teachers, they'll tell you nothing has changed about teaching. Because what we were teaching before the new curriculum in 2018, in the same classroom, sitting, children writing in the exercise books. So, talking to my project scholars, the conclusion is, yes, we will get curriculum change over the years. Until we integrate technology into the conversation, we are going nowhere with the curriculum change. So that's the storyline. But what media do we find in the classroom? Gallup funded a lot of schools to integrate technology, but we found that textbook dominate the media introduction in the classroom. That kind of support. We wanted to find out, do trained teachers teach differently in this inquiry-based pedagogy of interest to Jacob Foundation? We didn't find difference between the non-professional teachers and licensure teachers in the private and public schools. Sorry to say that. Were they teaching collaboratively between the public and private schools? There was no difference. And what skills are dominating the core competencies in the curriculum? Which of them are dominating teachers teaching? Children, critical thinking is a similarly variable that came out, but that can be engaged. The rest of the core competencies are silent in a teacher's lesson plan. So the conversation will be, how are we going to prepare children for the resilient life after here when they leave our classroom? So a bit of the conversation Jacob Foundation was interested in is, should there be a pandemic? Would African schools close or they will remain in school? That's the next answer we want to have. And that depends on the skills teachers have. And when we assess the teacher skills, the most important skills for teachers to transit to digital integration have to do with multimedia design, coding, data analytics. But you see the data, teachers are okay with generic ICT. They know about the hardware, software, okay? Input, output devices, fine. Social media, excellent. Internet skills, they can search. But the rest of the skills were not significant in the teachers' work. So that's why the laptop given to teachers remain in their pocket, and many watch movies will tell you. Teachers tell us, oh, we even sold our laptops because they didn't know how to use it. Because they still prepare their lesson note in the leisure book. Right. On disability, we came across 11 differential learners in the school system, but the teaching practice in the classroom has no space for this differential learner because teachers have no data on the abilities of their learners beyond knowing their names and their inability to read and do math, write their names. Teachers tell the story, but this is not clinically diagnosed data. So these are perception of teachers about learning disabilities in their classroom. But if they do know this, how are they using technology to meet the learning needs of these children? It's a conversation we have to have. So briefly, the model that we built from our project, telling the story of digital integration, what do we need to make it work? This picture is available in the technical report we share with you. But there's a big call we make from our project. Based on the evidence with digital skills, access, and teachers' assessment practices in the school system, there's no way the Ghanaian teacher is ready to teach full online using learning management platform. So should there be a pandemic, we will go home one more time. Take it from us. We are professors. We can profess knowledge. We've been to the classrooms. We saw teachers. So we're not just telling stories from data we gathered from survey. No. So this is a school. We spend time interacting with teachers. What do we see? We got to a classroom where computers were available. Teachers got to a classroom. They asked the children to turn off the screen. You could see the screen here. Before the teacher got to a class, the children were designing their future housing, their future cars. That is the power of technology in the hand of the child to explore. So the critical thinking, problem solving, innovation are hidden when the teachers take the chalk and go to the board. Learning becomes textual, difficult for the learner to memorize. So this is the story. At best, some schools that do not have computer lab, the teacher have one laptop. When he sees you, a visitor coming to the school, he puts it on the table to show that he's teaching ICT to the children. So you see the number of children watching his screen. But before we got to that class, he has printed Excel sheet on A4 sheet and labeled the part for the children to memorize for exam. Meanwhile, this is a mathematical intelligence software to help children do math, graph. But the Ghanaian teacher hasn't got that training to bring the children to it. So the panel will discuss how we could go about this integration story. The sad story to see the differential learners, when their colleagues have their heads turned to the blackboard, she is not part of the conversation at all. So this is a special needs child called Achupe in the classroom in the private school in Ho. Right. What are the areas for growth? I will not attempt to answer. Based on our conversation, I'll leave the panel with Hefo to do this. But what is the impact of series? Based on the evidence, we realize that the curriculum that trained Ghanaian teacher needs to take a second look at. In other words, how children are wired to learn biologically, psychologically, neuro. Teachers are not at that level. Teachers are best trained with literacy and numeracy skills, but how children think, behave, is different conversation for teachers. They are helpless to understand children with few counseling experts in the school. Teachers have no way of knowing this. So we, at a part of this project, developed 7 academic programs: Bachelor of, Master of Art, MPhil, PhD in Learning Sciences and Technology, to fill the gap. Yes. So when we had a reviewer to look at this program, we were told that these programs are going to put other universities in a comfortable situation, because this is the innovation to think new ways of training the Ghanaian teacher to teach the child who is biologically wired in a way that the teacher only knows how to meet their needs through the curriculum is given. So come on board. Child Education Science, very powerful program. We're going to train the scholars in deep learning, how to integrate technology, psychology, anthropology into teaching and learning, to understand the environment children are born into, how they behave, how they think. Therefore, you use observation skills to understand children and can operationalize the learning outcome, the global skills that we want our children to have. So on this call, I don't have much more to say except to tell you the impact stories, teachers we visited in the schools, and help them teach to measure the learning outcome, the core competencies. They have their stories here. We put them online, and the report are available. So we're grateful to our sponsors to help us put this scientific data together. The rest is evidence translation. You and I sitting here, how do we translate this into imparting learning outcomes of the children in front of us or in our classroom in school? So I'll leave that question to you to answer with your panel at this stage. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Moderator, you have your audience.
Thank you.
So with the kind permission of my moderator, the technical report that emerged from the 3-year scientific study is available. We share copy with you here, and the soft copy is online in the university repository, online spaces. You can download them to understand the issues better. Thank you.
Thank you, Gideon. Well, so sorry I know he's a teacher, and sometimes teachers, our messages are very short. So we need to remind ourselves of how much we are doing with time. I'm sure if I tell you how much time he spent, you will say, oh, no, I did only 5 minutes. But he has done close to 20 minutes. Anyway, so thank you very much. That was very... That was a very good and insightful, and I like the conclusion of the matter. Nekrakra is saying, we need to build capacity, and we've taken up the challenge. And based on this stone that have been set by our colleague Gideon, I would like to start with you, Professor Yidana. So if you can help him with the microphone, I'll be grateful. Now, from your experience designing learning materials, what does good use of technology look like in early grade classrooms? And what are common mistakes schools should avoid based on your experience?
All right.
Oh, you can sit down, please. Please sit down. Yes.
Yeah, it's on. Okay. Thank you so much, organizers of this forum, and then the target audience who are here. Wait. They can hear me?
Please use this one.
Okay. Technology is always having the positive and negative. Okay. The question the moderator asks is very vital for this discussion. How do we actually integrate technology to enhance learning outcomes? Yes, post-pandemic or during pandemic, you all were here when we had to close down our educational institution from primary to university level. But some measures had to be taken. So the students are not following at home. Some they did it in the asynchronous CD-ROMs and sent to students. Others were able to get some form of learning management system to design online instructional material for students to engage themselves while they are at home. Post-pandemic, many institutions still continue with the hybrid mode of what? Learning. I mean, partly you design activities online, students at their leisure time, self-directed, they can interact with those materials and get themselves actively involved in the learning process. While the face-to-face version, the teacher is there to facilitate their areas of concern. Ideally, we wish to have more time to go through the process. But in designing activities for learners at the basic level, the first principle is to plan, 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 and plan. And in the planning stage, you need to actually identify who you are designing your instruction for. Who are these people that I'm designing? What are their learning needs? What are their learning styles? Are there people with special needs? If you don't map out this at the early stage, no matter the quality of your technology, it won't meet those needs. So the first step is to know your learner. At the primary school, they are all flowing like water in the pipe. We don't seem to identify who needs special attention, who is a visual learner, who is a verbal learner, who is a kinesthetic learner. We don't care about that. We just move all of them as if they are having the same ability levels. That is a non-starter in integrating technology. Technology will intervene to differentiate their learning style, their learning needs, and even the pace at which they learn. So that's the very first step. Plan. What is the curriculum saying about technology integration? In Ghana, the experience is that we are very mute about how we integrate technology into the curricula, even at the university level. You are teaching mathematics or sciences, and the curriculum is silent. It's now that we are trying to integrate it in the curriculum. But in the past, in the very immediate past, we didn't cater for that. I participated in some of the NACA activities to do this educational transformation thing. And came at integrating technology into the curriculum itself. Now, that is very important because if you don't understand where to integrate a particular type of technology in the curriculum, and you just use any technology for technology's sake, you are not going to use it efficiently. So that's the next thing you have to look at. What are the learning outcomes? What do these curricula seek to achieve in the end as far as the learning is concerned? At the basic level, the competency level of the child who should be able to differentiate from grade 1 to grade 6 and see how we can meet those challenges as we go along from primary 1 to primary 6 up to JSS 3. But most of the time, the curriculum doesn't seem to project this differentiated learning. So at the planning stage, there are a lot we can do. After you have gotten these resources, type of resources you want to use, the curriculum, the learning outcomes, the next thing you should consider is adopting student-centered learning activities and learning strategies and learning methods that will meet the learning, that will help you to achieve the learning outcome. So the next moment you consider in designing your instruction for those learners, in fact, this applies across the curriculum, from primary to university.
Okay.
You need to also think deeply about your instructional strategies and instructional methods.
Right.
They are very, very key. We teach algebra at the primary school. We teach algebra at the secondary school. We teach algebra at the university. But is it the same algebra? No. So the instructional strategy to teach algebra at the primary up to JSS should be tailored for that purpose. You don't come and teach university stuff to a primary school child. That will suicide for them.
Right. Prof, I will certainly come back to you for a lot more insights.
Okay.
But I want to move on to Professor Boabin Ando to take it up from where Prof left off. He's talked about the need to plan, the need to know your learner, and the learning outcomes that you want to pursue, and that will determine how you go about things. Now, interacting with teachers, a number of teachers feel that, well, what you guys are talking about, you are overwhelming us. So my question to you is that, how can technology support teachers in teaching reading, numeracy, rather than feeling that the technology we are preaching is rather overwhelming them?
Thank you very much. In the first place, the teachers must be trained on some of these software which we can use to teach mathematics, reading, and so on and so forth. If teachers are not well trained to use some of these software or technology, they will always feel that, oh, I'm not comfortable with using some of these technologies in the classroom. And then also our facilitators, we need to equip the teachers. Our schools, computer labs need to have all these software to teach these teachers. And then we also have to be organizing workshops for them so that they also learn a lot of things which have been coming up nowadays to teach the students to understand what they are supposed to do.
Okay.
So if the teachers don't have that knowledge, they'll
Right.
always be afraid to be using some of the software to be teaching them, especially in the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Right.
So they need to be.
I hear two things from your submission.
Yeah.
Teacher professional development. Of
Yeah.
course, one at the point of training
Yes.
before they exit their
Exactly.
training institutions. But for those who are currently in practice, TPD is a big thing. We need to train them, build their capacity. And I'm also hearing you talk about infrastructure.
Exactly.
That we need to put the basic requisite infrastructure to support the delivery of these learning outcomes.
Exactly.
Now, I would like to move on to the practitioner, the one who is doing it in the schools. So let's go to my sister, Mrs. Nimatu Idrisu. Can you tell me, from your experience, what practical challenges do you face, your day-to-day experience? How do you support your learners with technology? How do they come to appreciate what it is and how they can actually integrate it, both from the learner's perspective and also from the teacher's angle?
Thank you so much. I would like to first of all thank the organizers of this program It is a very good program, and I'm glad and then happy to be on this platform to share my experiences. Yes, first of all, my school is Accra College of Education Demonstration School, which is situated on the campuses of Accra College of Education. Of course, as teachers or as a head teacher, I see all my experiences on these issues are on daily basis. I see teachers and learners do these things every day. Now, under the NACA curriculum, it is seen, or we can see that ICT is not treated as a separate subject on its own only, please, but it is meant to support or to support other subjects. That's all other subjects that teachers are teaching. For example, in my school, Accra College of Education, when you get there, you realize that most of my teachers, even though some of them use their own tools, but they are trying, they use these digital tools to support teaching and learning, for example, in the classroom. So you go around and then you observe teachers using laptops, their own personalized laptops anyway. Of course, we know that GES and the ministry gave teachers some laptops, but such laptops, I'm sure by now some of them will not be in good use, even though officers or technicians come around. For example, my school technicians come around every time to help with these laptops, yes, in good use. So you see teachers using laptops, using projectors, using tablets, and then their smartphones to do what? In lesson deliveries in their classroom. And when you go around to observe, you see, for example, observe that the learners are their interest is always their interest in whatever the teacher is teaching. It's always at a very
high level.
Yes, high levels, and then they try as much as the teachers try to give these learners these technology tools where they can manipulate, and then they can they can come out with what is it, basic knowledge in ICT.
Right.
Also, when I go around to observe, I realize that teachers use this technology in putting children into, they put children into smaller groups to do group works, projects, and then when the learners are able to integrate, they are able to collaborate, they are able to communicate, they bring out some of these core competencies that Doctor spoke about.
Okay.
Core competencies such as collaboration, creativity, communication, and then problem solving. So these learners are able to bring out such. And then also, I see the use of research-based assignments on the ascendancy, especially in my school. Okay. But most of my teachers give guided tasks to learners. And then these learners take these guided tasks home, and then they are able to do what? They are able to exploit ideas using the internet.
Okay.
Yes, and of course, please, parents must also do what? They must support or they must supervise learners when they bring such guided assignments or research-based assignments home. You cannot just leave that to the learner, because we know our learners that we have these days, they are very curious. So they may even leave what they are supposed to do, and then they will be looking at other aspects of
interesting points. So I told you, if you are dealing with teachers, you have to always remind them, because we don't talk much. Teachers, we don't talk much. Now, you ended on a very important point, that parents must provide guidance in helping their children to, and that takes me to the question I'm going to give to my colleague Godfred. You work with GES, and parents often worry that technology may expose their children, especially girls, to all forms of risk and harms. How is GES balancing digital learning with child protection and safe use of technology in schools?
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm very grateful. Yes, Technology integration in teaching and learning is actually a big issue in our schools. And I think as the outcome of the study had showed, there are a lot of challenges, especially after the pandemic or during the pandemic, the gaps showed. And after the pandemic, we are now seeing the realities that there is a need to do more. And all stakeholders should actually be on board, including parents, as Doc has mentioned. For us to be able to achieve this fight, the effort of the parent of our kids, we need it seriously. Now, the problem is that the culture, at first we were using the traditional system of actually teaching more without technology integration. It is after the pandemic that the awareness actually come up. And so some teachers are still having that old system of idea in their minds that I wouldn't use technology. The confidence is not there. The confidence is not there. And the parents having their kids in school, the trust is also not there. What about if my child is exposed to technology and tomorrow is in the news, and how do I take it? So I think we need to train even beyond the teachers. The training we give to teachers, we need to extend that to even the parent as well. So they begin to understand that the training we give them, there are kids that are in school that we are supporting them with technology is for their own benefit, beyond what they are seeing. And so I think we need to train them, empower them, get them the needed confidence in the system. For our curriculum, it is beautifully crafted, beautifully. The core competencies are there. But the ICT integration is a cross-cutting issue. It's supposed to cut across all the competencies. And I think we have most of our teachers who still need training to be able to equip themselves, empower themselves to do the right thing. In most of our schools, we have let me say most of the schools, teachers are there. In some of the schools, laptops, computers are also there. But you don't see the teachers taking the kids to the computer lab to engage them, for them to acquire the needed skills, collaboration and all that. PTA meetings, we can take advantage of some of these opportunities to talk to parents, to see how together they can support the schools attain this dream.
I hear a number of things from your submission. I'm hearing you talk about capacity building. I'm hearing things around people having issues with their own self-confidence. And so the issues around peer learning becomes very important. I'm hearing you talk about advocacy to let parents know that it is for their good, but they also have a role. And I also hear you make a clarion call that we all have a role to play in making sure that our children are safe, even as we talk about technology integration. I know a lot of you seated here are experts, and not everybody could be seated and happy. So I want to open the floor to as maybe 3 people maximum. If you'd want to make a contribution, you have an experience you want to share with us in 1 minute, not more than 1 minute, in 1 minute. Yes, so I'll give opportunity. So can I help you with the microphone? There's a hand up here. I want to see the hands. I am a teacher. I see number 1. You are number 2. Please keep your number in mind. And I see number 3. Okay, it's gone. So number 1, you have the floor. Do you have a microphone yet? No. Let me borrow one of the microphones. All right. So you are number 1.
Thank you very much.
in 1 minute.
Thank you. Hello. I am a teacher by profession.
Great.
Before
I'll give you 1 minute, 30 seconds for
before my
that.
appointments as the MC, I was a deputy director. I want to say that one thing that I want to add is supervision of teachers. Teachers' work should not be left to themselves. It might be supervised by experts. And the retraining that we talked about, most of the tools that are sent to the schools, the teachers cannot use them. I remember the first time I was given a microscope, and the type of microscope I've never seen before. And as a teacher, I couldn't use it to teach. Thank God I have to be trained for about 31 days to be able to use it. In my life in the university, I never used the microscope on my own, even though I did some biology. And so I want to say that most of the
Please,
tools that
he
are
didn't
sent-
go to Legon.
No. Most of the tools that are sent to the teachers must be trained to use them. If we just dump it on them and think that they have to use it, teachers are not going to use it because they don't really know how to use it. So supervision is very important to me. Let us supervise teachers' work by experts. If you are a science teacher, you are handling a topic, the expert will come and see what you are using, what you are not using, why are you not using it, even though you have it. Thank you very much.
Supervision. That's a very good point. Thank you very much. I didn't get a name.
I am Salif Isaac, MC for Bekwai.
Thank you very much, Salifu. It's a hack. Number two, yes. If you miss your number, don't blame me.
My name is Teacher Olivia.
We cannot hear you.
My name is Teacher Olivia.
The microphone is not working. Please, can you hear her? Okay, great.
Mr. Midindi, Teacher Olivia. One, appropriate technology. I want professors to guide how we can leverage on that.
Okay.
And as moderator, I'm sure that our Estonian, guests will get opportunity. I would want them to show us how they manage the differential students, that kind of thing. But thank you, the team, for the great work.
So 2 points. How do we leverage appropriate technology in the narrative? And of course, our friends from Estonia, I see some wonderful face. Oh, let's give them a wave. Our friends from Estonia, beautiful country. You've not been there yet. Oh, you should try and go there. Some from Greece. Oh, okay. I'll make the Greece people my friends because I've not been there yet. Now, so we'll come to you to share perspectives on how you have been able to manage issues around learning differentiation. So if anybody would like to speak on that. Number 3, and then we'll take the responses.
All right, thank you. Hello. Okay, thank you very much. We're talking about technology integration, but I think there is one thing we are trying to forget here: connectivity. When you want to integrate technology into the education system and the connectivity is not there. When I talk of connectivity, I mean internet, I mean accessibility, and I mean the cost.
All right, thank you very much. So, very important point you raised about connectivity. Yes, and so I'll come back to, of course, our friend Isahak talked about the need to have supervision, to quality supervision. And then we've also had the issue about leveraging appropriate technology, and that is to the panelists. Share your thoughts. How do you think we can take advantage of that? And then issues of connectivity, which is more of policy issue. And then, of course, our friends from Greece and Estonia would share their perspectives. Anybody who is ready can take the microphone. Anybody want to respond? Yes, we'll go to Mrs. Miss Nimatu.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. I want to talk about supervision, because that is where I stand. It's an open secret that even some of us head teachers do not have the necessary the technological know-how. Because if you want head teachers to supervise, or even CISOs to supervise, then they must also be trained to be able to use or to be able to identify some of these digital tools that teachers will be using in the classroom. So as for example, if a head teacher doesn't know what Google Meet, Zoom, or even Microsoft Forms or Google Forms are used for, and the head teacher goes into a classroom and sees teachers using them, they are not going to appreciate what the teacher is doing. So I think that the head teachers must also be trained digitally, so that they will have the technical know-how, so that they'll be able to appreciate what the teachers are doing in the classroom, and also to be able to guide and then provide support system for such teachers.
Yes, I agree with you completely. The training should not just be focusing on, we shouldn't just be talking about teachers, but talk about the supervisors who provide that supervision oversight. Thank you very much. Anybody want to respond? I think Prof wants to, and I'll come to you. Prof Idana.
The training is, as we sit down.
Teachers are used to standing, so please.
Stand up.
That is.
And if I had a chance, I'm used to walking around. The training, and I'm happy my GES friend is here. Some years back, maybe 10 years ago, before 2007, some of us were selected. Actually, we were two from Ghana. UNESCO organized that training of trainers, how to integrate technology, to leverage it into teaching and learning. We came back, we wrote our report, sent it to GES, Ministry of Education, because they were the guys that nominated us to go. I followed the then chief director several times over at the National Examination Committee meetings in WAEC. My time is going, I know. It's a story that's linked to the issues. And they just ignored it. They just ignored. I hope you will not do that. The guy who from they just ignored it. The training goes through 3 levels, as my PowerPoint will have shown. You need to educate them on computer education, computer literacy or technology literacy. That's the first level. Then you move to information literacy, where they can now use these gadgets and allied technology to generate information, be able to retrieve information, store it, organize it in useful forms. But the ultimate is the integration literacy. That is always lacking in the training packages of GES. He's here, you confess it to me. And the reason is simple. They don't take a blend of expertise to go in there. Nobody knows it all. If you want to practically integrate and differentiate learning and learners' needs, multimedia people have to be there. Instructional designer will have to be there. ICT integration expert will have to be there. But they normally go to the vendors, computer vendors. They know the technical. They will give you the computer and technology literacy and a little bit of the information, but the integration is already left behind. And that is why we are not making a step forward. From September 2007, Ghana's policy was that we should teach and learn with what? ICT throughout the curriculum from primary to university level. Even at the university level, the conservative lecturers still shy away from using technology. Very conservative, resistant to change. That is the core of the problem. So the training package need to be refashioned to go through the 3 phases. If you stop at the 2nd phase and expect teachers to actually integrate, it is not going to work.
Right. Thank you, Prof. In the interest of time, we actually let's do it for. Let's give it out to the entire panel. I know you all have contributions to make, but I want to add a question so that as you go, because we may not have another round of engagement. Now, based on the conclusion that the report gave, it was emphatic. Should there be another pandemic, schools will close down. And that broke my heart. It means someone said something, I was on a panel with him, and he said, one thing Ghanaians are good at doing is that we don't learn anything from what happens to us. And a lot of conversation is going on. But what key lessons should we take away? Because as part of what we are doing here at New Year School, and I heard the president say, I look forward to the communique. What key lessons should the government apply to ensure technology helps protect children and learning should there be another pandemic? So as we think about it, for me, that would be a big takeaway in this conversation. Should there be another pandemic, and the pandemic don't give enough room. Within 2 weeks, it's catch up with you. And so in the next 1 month, we have pandemic. What happens? What can we do differently so that children in my holy city of Boso are not left behind? I mean, you live in the urban area, so we are in the rural area. So what should we do? And please, I will take 30 seconds each from my panelists, and then I would give opportunity to our international guests to make some comments based on their own experiences, and we wrap up the session. Thank you. I would start, which of you? Prof? Yes, Prof, I'll start with you. No, I'll come to you next.
Wabiando. But we have experienced the pandemic before, and it seems like it's gone, so we are relaxed. We should now begin to train the teachers, build infrastructure. Training first, then the supervision must also go on to say the teachers who are being trained are using the technology. You go to my village, the infrastructure, you're talking about technology. They don't have the infrastructure. So the government should ensure that now that we are embracing the technology, all schools, irrespective of where it's situated, should have technological infrastructure.
All right. So infrastructure is basic and it must be in place. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity once again, Doc. Yes. During the pandemic, we were all doing a lot of things to help our kids. I think after the pandemic, we have relaxed, as Prof said. We have totally relaxed. We were engaging our kids through radio programs, TV, and other online means, but we have relaxed. So I think we should quickly go back to some of these things. Very, very important. And government being a key stakeholder, I think most of our schools, as we have already stated, we need computers. We need laptops. We need infrastructure beyond these two gadgets that I've mentioned, so that in case of any pandemic again, the system can be robust enough to take charge without us running helter-skelter. What do we do? Who is doing this? No, we must put the system in place so that when it happens, we can engage the system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would come to the practitioner.
Thank you.
What should government do? Maybe I'll rephrase your question to make sure your school is not closed down. Should there be another pandemic?
Yes, thank you. I think my colleague spoke about infrastructure, the provision of digital tools, such as computers, as we said, laptops, projectors. But I also think that the government should train teachers to be able to what? To use apps or computer or digital apps that they can sit in the comfort of their homes. Learners can be at wherever they are, and then lesson delivery will go on. For example, in my school, especially when we are preparing the BEC candidate. My teachers are here, they will attest to that fact. Most of the teachers engage learners in these extended learning platforms. They use, I mentioned earlier, my Google Meet, Zoom, and even WhatsApp platforms to engage learners who are at home. So I think that teachers must be They must be trained to be able to use such apps.
Right.
Because if a teacher is not able to use, he or herself is not able to what? To use that. How can the teacher be able to use that app to teach or help learners revise at the comfort of their home? So I think that
Right.
should be done.
Thank you very much. Let's give the microphone to Prof. And then I would, let's get a microphone to our international partners.
Okay.
Prof, in 1 minute.
Oh, just 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I've gotten seconds going with it. Like my colleague said just a moment ago, we really have gone through this pandemic before. We're in the hybrid and then the full-time, online instructional delivery mode. But as soon as it's over, even at the university level, we have relaxed. Legon uses Sakaya. Maybe the other university in Ghana, they are using Moodle most of the time. And that is one way of reaching out to students. But how many of the basic schools, secondary schools, college education have gotten this learning management system in place? In the developed world where they are rich, they are using Blackboard, WebCity, and all those kind of preparatory ones. We don't have that money to do that. But can we also have what we call interactive CD-ROMs or whatever, pen drives, you can put it on pen drives. When that happens, students can be given material to work with. $10 in Jolu here. They have what we call the iBox. Have they continuously been rolling it out or they have frozen the project? That's another way of reaching our learners, the young learners, during pandemic. The iBox is very, very good. 50 kilometers radius. They can broadcast to people at their homes. It was a nice project. If they could make it, scale it up, so every district in the country could have one or a number of them to broadcast to learners in their homes when there's a pandemic, that will help a lot. Right. But like they said, the training, don't say right yet, the training, the training is very key. Even how to download and even discriminate what kind of information you need from the internet, it's a skill. If the teachers are not trained very well in that, interactive multimedia, how they design their work, the coursework, so that students can take what we call self-directed learning at home during pandemic. That will help a lot. Okay, you can say okay.
Thank you. Please put your hands together for them. I'll take the last, I don't know if our colleagues would like to make some comments, remarks, briefly. The microphone, yes, thank you. It's not working? Okay.
So thank you very much. My name is Mikk. I'm from Estonia, Tallinn University, and maybe a few thoughts about the topic. I think most of the ideas already have been said from a panel, and we've heard it around. And you're asking me to give a recipe with one sentence to fix the education system. It's not possible, you know. But maybe some thoughts to give the direction which towards you should look at. And if you talk about systemic change, I believe this is the question here as well, because you have examples of things happening and things working in schools, which is okay, but you need that every school should operate the same. And I believe this is very context-specific question, that there are solutions that are working in Estonia might not work in Ghana or other countries, but I'll try. First, I would like to emphasize, and I think this is a very important part of this solution, is the teacher training and continuous training. And it was said previously as well, that this should be a systemic way of how our teachers are trained. And in Estonia, our teachers need to have a master's degree. We need to have high professionals in front of our children and doing what they know the best. And if the new topics come, of course, you need to train them with those as well. Estonia, for example, at the moment is rushing into the AI in education, and we are also struggling how to bring our teachers on board because the students are already gone and teachers are following them. I think the second topic, which is also important, is teacher autonomy. We heard here from the presentation that teaching students with Excel on paper is not an option. So if a teacher would have an autonomy at the classroom to choose how to teach children and what to meet the learning outcomes anyway, then those things might not happen so often. So I think this is also an important part to enforce teacher autonomy and school autonomy to know the local circumstances and to behave accordingly. And of course, hardware and suitable software. You can't do digital without the hardware. And maybe an experience from Estonia when we were doing this big transition. We equipped schools with hardware and software, and we had a separate foundation for that. Someone who was responsible for this change. It was not for schools themselves to make these things happen, but it was governmental foundation which had funds for that and made those investments and followed up if the equipment was working and also used at school. So maybe this will be also a case that you concentrate the responsibility and focus it into specific structures which would lead the change. Yeah, but I think we'll come to it in the next panel, but I would like to also conclude that you can't build up a floor if your foundation is not working or holding. So I think dealing with the very immense problems in education is also important, literacy and numeracy, and after that you can only go on to digital literacy and other topics. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. That's really great. I missed an important thing. I would like to acknowledge our scholars. The scholars on our project, they are both here. Please, can you rise? And then Ethel and... Do you have some quick 1 minute reflections to give? Please, yes, you have. I'll give you the opportunity. I'll give you the... If I don't do that, that will not be fair. Yes. 1 minute each.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I would also like to say thank you to our PI and everyone else to share our experience. I would say that it was very enriching for us. I'm a clinical psychologist and I work a lot with children, and so I kind of connect a lot with schools. And one thing I would take from this, or from all of the experience, including the writing and the research, is we do have the lovely policies. And I think sometimes we are all waiting for somebody to come and do something for us. I believe that if we're all to probably make that effort or put a little something, it would go a long way. Because on the ground, you'd find teachers who don't have the training, but they are trying. They are doing something, still trying to make do with what they have. They are using their own phones. They are, reading a bit, investigate, just to check what I can do. So they are making something just so that what they have can still work. I think that if we come with that attitude, it's a start. Whilst we wait for government or policies or for anything else to be added on. Then I think for me as well, one of the things is, because I do assessments, if we're talking about all these challenges and concerns we have, one major concern is, what about the neurodiverse child? If the neurotypical child is still not getting the support they need, or having some challenges, then how come, or what happens then to the child who's neurodiverse, who will still need you, the teacher, at least to be a little more different regarding the support, regarding the teaching and learning? So I'm hoping that for all of us, one major take home would be that when we go, whilst we are waiting, because we can't tell when that change, we are all hoping that that change would happen soon. But before that really gets to happen, what we can all do in our own way is, we all have phones, we are exploring, we are touching and playing with them in some ways. There are so many apps that are even free that we can even start with. The Canva, for example, and so on and so forth. The Google Meet, they are all there. But once you fiddle with them, you realize that over time you get familiar with them. And I'm sure they can really go a long way to ease the teaching and learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and we are grateful to have everybody here to listen to us. I'm a teacher, so in fact, being part of this project was the greatest joy in my life. I've been in teaching for over 2 decades and a half, but the 5 years of being with them made a difference. And I'm speaking to my colleagues. EduTech itself is play-based. Engage in it. This program taught me that EduTech itself is a whole play-based learning. So if you engage in it properly and thoroughly, it will really carry us far. And there's this adage proverb from Chinese, they say, when I do, I forget. When I hear, I remember. When I see, I forget. When I do, I remember. But when I do, I understand. So I think it's something we should really, really buy into and do it thoroughly. EduTech should be done thoroughly. And no matter how long or much they work and review our curriculum, the number of times they may take to review it, if we don't put the effort in, as professors here talked about, put learning ourselves as teachers, it will never bring a change. So we should change. Bring the change by learning more about EduTech and buy it into our lives. Accept it. Be confident. Don't be afraid. Challenge yourself. Do new things. And I think we'll enjoy our career as teachers. Thank you.
Your background?
I'm an educator, teacher educator, and a teacher myself.
Music, right?
Music. My background is music. And music, it's a whole EduTech itself. So I enjoy what I am doing.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate our scholars. And to help me or join me to say thank you to Professor Isifu Yidana. By special request.
I'm on GES today. Our policy on the use of these gadgets at the primary up to secondary school, are you revoking it or is it there? Not calculators, smartphones, and it's not allowed. And there is now maybe misuse of it. What about if they are trained how to use them productively? So I'm asking my Estonia colleague to throw light on that. I know we're trying to catch up with you guys, but you have slipped on away from the path we were following. Because I know Sweden, some states in the US, even UK is considering doing what GES is doing. What is your take on that? Taking away smartphone from students in school. How is it practiced in your jurisdiction there?
So I'm not sure you want to comment on that now, because as learners are allowed to have access to digital devices in school, smartphones, specifically smartphones.
Yep, well, this is, as I mentioned, in Estonia, schools are autonomous and they make their own decisions. So we have schools which have banned smartphones, we have schools which have not, which are using them for teaching, so it's up to the school actually. But in general there is a debate what's the use of the smartphone in the learning, and I guess if the teacher can make it useful, it's okay, but if it's a distraction then it's forbidden. So it depends on school and the teachers and how they're doing things. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So the point is that the schools are autonomous and decisions are at that level, and it's always analyzed based on what the use and the expected outcome is. Headmistress wants to do 30 seconds closing remarks.
Thank you. Yes, we all spoke about infrastructure, we spoke about the use of digital tools. But I just want to appeal to Corporate Ghana who are present here. I know NGOs are here. I know there are benevolent individuals here. Please just extend a helping hand to Accra College of Education Demonstration School in terms of infrastructure and also the provision of digital tools. Let me, 30 seconds, okay. Yes, please, a lot of people think Accra College of Education Demonstration School is a private school. No, it's a government public school. So please, it's just that it is attached to the college. So please come around, I'm around. You can see me after this, and then just extend your helping hand to us. Thank you, and you will not regret it.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So please, I would like to say thank you to Professor Isifu Yidana. Thank you to Professor Charles Boabiando. Thank you to Dr. Godfred Agbakplo. And then thank you, Mrs. Nimatu Idrisu, for all the insightful conversations we've had. I know that if we had 3 hours, it would have been even more exciting. But the next panel must also continue. And please, let's put our hands together for ourselves. We've been great participants. My name has not changed. Hayford Mensah Irakwa. And I will see you at the next session. Okay, so the panel will take a picture. So
serve as a center of excellence
please,
for digital
just stand
entrepreneurship,
here.
innovation, and education, bridging academia and industry to develop a future-ready workforce. Situated on 5.07 acres of land adjacent to the Hatso Bypass Road, Lagan, the DYV will feature a modern, technology-driven campus with world-class facilities such as autonomous thematic blocks dedicated to specialized fields of digital technology and
So the
agriculture,
panel, please, let's
finance,
take a
retail,
picture.
health, and education. A 2,000-seater auditorium
To the
for
PIs.
conferences, innovation summits, and digital exhibitions. Technology
Is my dean
laboratories
here?
equipped for practical training in industry.
Teacher Olivia. Is Teacher Olivia here?
Digital libraries and collaborative workspaces. Startup incubation centers supporting young innovators with mentorship and investment. An administrative and reception block. The Digital Youth Village is set to revolutionize the digital landscape and drive long-term economic development by creating an inclusive, technology-enabled space for learning, entrepreneurship, and industry engagement.
Accra College of
Welcome to the
Education
Digital
teaching
Youth Village,
teachers and
Ghana's
staff.
hub for digital
Madina
innovation
Estate
and entrepreneurship.
teachers, please
the Digital
join us.
Youth Village, DYV, is a
You come
transformative initiative by
upstairs.
the University of Ghana.
Yeah,
in
yeah, you are highly
collaboration with the
elevated.
Ministry
Come
of
up.
Finance and the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization to accelerate Ghana's digital transformation under the Digital Ghana Agenda. DYV
can we
will
appreciate
serve as a
these
center of
wonderful
excellence
teachers?
for digital entrepreneurship.
They were part of
innovation,
research.
education, bridging academia.
They
and
are doing
industry to
amazing
develop a
work.
future-ready workforce. Situated on
We thank you for your hard
5.07
work
acres of land
and your
adjacent
service to
the
the
Hatso
country.
Bypass Road, Lagan. The DYV will feature a modern, technology-driven campus with world-class facilities such as autonomous thematic blocks dedicated to specialized fields of digital technology and agriculture, finance, retail, health, and education. A 2,000-seater auditorium for conferences, innovation summits, and digital exhibitions. Technology laboratories equipped for practical training in Industry 4.0 technologies. Digital libraries and collaborative workspaces. Startup incubation centers supporting young innovators with mentorship and investment. An administrative and reception block. The Digital Youth Village is set to revolutionize the digital landscape and drive long-term economic development by creating an inclusive, technology-enabled
Thank you
space for
very
learning,
much. The next session
entrepreneurship,
continues.
and industry engagement. Welcome to the Digital Youth Village, Ghana's hub for digital innovation and entrepreneurship. The Digital Youth Village, DYV, is a transformative initiative by the University of Ghana in collaboration with the...
Shall we give it up to them as they take their seats? Thank you so much. This session has been very insightful and interesting. I believe we've all learned something from this session. We are zooming straight into our next session, and my duty here is to introduce the moderator for the next session, which is under the theme Youth Development Opportunities. The moderator for this session is Mr. Gideon Ayikwe. Mr. Gideon Ayikwe is a seasoned broadcaster with 20 years experience in radio and TV broadcast. He's a scriptwriter, TV news producer, director, and broadcast journalist. He's a deputy CEO of Ghana Tourism Development Company, and the CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority. He also acts as the Executive Secretary for the Creative Arts Agency. Shall we welcome Mr. Gideon Ayikwe to the podium? Let's give it up as he takes the podium. Please, let's keep clapping until he takes the microphone.
Right. Good morning. Oh, good morning. Lovely. Just a little bit of a correction, and then we proceed. I was the deputy CEO for the Ghana Tourism Development Company, and I was the CEO for the Ghana Tourism Authority, and I'm currently the acting executive secretary for the Creative Arts Agency. Yes. So that is it. Now, I'm very, very delighted to be here. Indeed, anytime the youth come up, it's so dear to any heart. The youth obviously is a bedrock of every nation. Without them, you have no future. And so anytime we're talking about the youth, you're very, very deep into the thoughts that you get the best out of what is discussed. And so I'd like to welcome you to this particular section, which is going to take care of the youth development opportunities. Indeed, it's pretty disheartening the way we turn out a lot of students, they come out and yet there's no job for them. Ideally, we would have to find a way of making them entrepreneurs rather than relying on white-collar jobs. And this is why, at the least opportunity, we seek advice from experts on how to go about this, whichever way we can, to make sure that at least the youth is satisfied. To help me today on my panel, I have from 1 Million Coders Project, I have from Digital Youth Village, I have from Nkebom Project, Ejumatech AI, and the Youth in Agriculture program here in Ghana. So I'd like to invite to the podium, or if you're here, my panelists. I think 1 Million Coders Project is being represented by Mr. Freddy Abua. If you're here, please join us. And then from Digital Youth Village, we're being represented by Professor Simon Peter Kafui Aheto. Is Prof here? Okay. And then from Nkebom Project, where we're expecting Dr. Hayford Ayerkwa. Lovely. Ejumatech AI, I'm not sure if Dr. Frank Akwe is here. Oh, brilliant. Good to have you. And then we're expecting the Honorable Member of Parliament for the area, who is also Deputy Minister for Agriculture, the Honorable John Dumelo. I guess we'll proceed. Yes. In his absence, if he joins us, we'll be very fortunate to have him. So, yes, you're welcome, gentlemen. I think you have your microphones. Right, we'll share what we have. So briefly, I'd like to give you the opportunity in about 2 minutes, yes, to tell us what you do, because you're coming from Ejumatech AI. Yes, please briefly tell us what you do.
So my name is Frank Lawrence Ni Adokwe. It's a mouthful, so you can just call me Larry, or some people like calling me Dr. Larry. I'm currently a lecturer at Ashesi, and I'm also the managing director of Ejumatech. But I'm here as a representative of Ejumatech. My background is in artificial intelligence. My PhD was around machine learning as applied to proteomics and bioinformatics data.
So my name is Hayford Mensah Irakwa, and the equation just flipped. Yes, so I work with the University of Ghana, specifically School of Continuing and Distance Education as a senior lecturer, but I also am part of Inkabom Collaborative, which is I'll be giving you a bit more detail about, but focusing largely on helping young people to find their spaces within agri-food systems in this country and beyond. Thank you.
So, hello. Good morning to all of you. My name is Freddie Abua, and I work with the Ghana-India Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT. I work there as the Director of Research and Innovation. But this morning, I'm wearing the hat of 1 Million Coders. And I'm part of the 1 Million Coders program implementation team at the center. I think in due course, we will talk more about the program. Thank you.
Right. Fortunately, Professor Heto is here. I don't know why I couldn't make him out. I was asking if he was representing him. Right, Prof, briefly.
So I'm an associate professor in IT and education, and I double as the deputy director for the Digital Youth Village in charge of programs. So I'm representing myself.
Right, this is lovely. I think it's appropriate that I have a text here about each of them that I go through quickly for you to appreciate what they actually do. 1 Million Coders project that I'm starting with, officially launched by President John Mahama in April 2025, is a flagship initiative of the Ghana Research Agenda, and it's aimed at training 1 million citizens in high-demand skills like coding, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence over a 4-year period. Now, Digital Youth Village is a flagship initiative birthed by the annual New Year School and Conference of this university. The initiative aims to address youth unemployment by transforming Ghana's digital landscape through skill development and business incubation. It is designed around 5 thematic hubs that align with the Ghana digital economy policy, and these are agri-tech, health tech, edutech, fintech, and retail tech. Okay, so Prof, that's your area. Fantastic. Inkabom project, collaborative, is a multi-institutional initiative led by the University of Ghana in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation and McGill University. Now, launched in mid-2025, the project aims to transform Ghana's agri-food systems by empowering youth to lead innovations in nutrition, food security, and sustainable agribusiness. Ijumatech AI is a specialized technology platform and strategic partner in Ghana's emerging artificial intelligence ecosystem. It is primarily focused on building a world-class AI workforce by training and employing Ghanaians in high-end technical roles that support the global AI supply chain. One of its primary focus, thankfully, is the youth. Now, Youth in Agriculture program is a strategic national initiative designed to motivate and empower young Ghanaians to embrace agriculture as a profitable technology-driven commercial venture rather than a subsistence activity. And let me also inform you that right after this session, please be on standby. We have a team from Tallinn University from Estonia. So if you can please be on standby, we will also like to hear from you regards to this, and you'll be coming from the global perspective. So gentlemen, you're welcome. Yes, every time we talk about the youth, you know what it is about. Prof, let me start with you. Yes, how relevant is it in our situation?
So in the next few years, especially in Ghana and in Africa, the youth will form the largest in terms of our population. So it is right for us to involve them in how we plan or build the Ghana we want. So it is timely, and it is also good we involve them. So as you can see, we've involved them in our activities for this year's New Year School. As we are here, we have the youth school ongoing at another location. So it is very relevant to involve them in the discourse of today. So the opportunities, we are co-creating with them, and from the Digital Youth Village perspective, we are involving them again to co-create and build their digital and entrepreneurial skills. So as the moderator rightly mentioned, there are 5 thematic areas: agric, education, retail, fintech, and health. And with these areas, we can get the young people, the youth, to be able to build. So at the Digital Youth Village, some of the opportunities that these young people are going to get is that you can already see that we are seriously in touch with collaborators and partners, development partners like UNFPA, UNDP, UNESCO, and other development partners. And in terms of institutions too, we are in touch with Tallinn University. Tallinn, they will speak for themselves. They are very much advanced, very, 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 very small country, as they love to describe themselves, but very advanced when it comes to technology. So at the Digital Youth Village, these are the people or the players we want to engage with, so that our young people will not come and be learning from the scratch. We will not learn, we will leverage on the mistakes or the experiences of what others have already done. So these are some of the opportunities, and there are going to be internship opportunities, exchange opportunities, and quite a number of opportunities to build the youth with skills. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Prof. Dr. Akwe, yes, AI, obviously very dominant these days. How can the youth take advantage of it?
First of all, I'll say that it's interesting that in this part of the world, the authorities try to find means by which they can help the youth to take advantage of these things. But if you look into other markets, you have 19-year-olds, fresh graduates, actually leading the front of these technologies. And I think the reason why we have that challenge is because we need a mindset shift. Once we have, because, forgive what I'm about to say, how many of us did social studies? I'll answer the question in a second. How many of us would look at most of the problems in Ghana today, and all you have to do is take a junior high school social studies textbook, and that's it? And every time there's a youth conversation, there are a lot of people that share opinions, but nothing really changes. So my thought is more like we need a mindset shift. Every single one of us here, once we have the mindset shift, I don't know how it will happen, but naturally the youth will find their way in representing. Because if you're a father and you have a particular mindset, your children will inherit it. But if we have that mindset shift, naturally the youth would play a role that they are supposed to. Most children understand technology more than their parents. So it will be easier for them to pick up AI or any new thing that comes up than authorities or the adults. But we don't have that mindset shift, and it's always about the younger people looking up to the older people for solutions. I know I didn't answer your question, but all I'm trying to say is my answer is we need a mindset shift, and maybe then the youth can take advantage of things.
Right, talking about the mindset, we know how AI is making inroads. We also know what technology holds. There are positives, there are negatives. How are we making sure that our youth is not taking advantage of the AI negatively? Yes, you.
Okay, so again, we worry about the negatives and the positives, but in my humble opinion, we've not even figured out the basics.
we are having a panel discussion about technology, and we still, I know there are a lot of powerful people here, I'm going to get myself in trouble, we still have schools where there's no electricity. So if there's no electricity, why introduce the technology? So I don't think we are at the stage where we should worry about the positives and negatives yet. We should think about it, but let's get to a point where we started using it. For example, when we hear AI, we're thinking of the chat GPTs or stuff like that. The most fundamental version of it is a logistic regression model or a linear regression model. It's basically fitting a line to a curve. Can students learn that, understand that, and adapt it in a particular way? Can we start with just the basics? And then maybe we can worry about policy and how negative it is. I, in my humble opinion, think that let's solve the basics. Then naturally, we can worry about positives and negatives and stuff like that.
Dr. Yeboah, what's your opinion?
Well, so,
no, Doctor, let me go to Dr. Yeboah first. Yes. I want your opinion.
The question again.
Yes, I mean we're looking at positives and negatives of AI as far as the youth is concerned. Yes.
Irrespective of how you look at it, I mean, the negatives, there's nothing we can do. We have to, in my opinion, focus on the positives, right? Focus on the positive of the advantages that it will give to them, it will give to the country, and so on. I think that is where the effort should be. And for us in the 1 Million Coders program, that is where our energies are, the positives.
I see. I see largely that you're trying to dodge the negatives. For which reason, I cannot tell. Dr. Iroka, maybe you can help. But then, where I'm coming from, yes, I mean, we've seen, I mean, cybersecurity, for example, yes. We've seen how the youth is taking advantage of cyber these days. And then subsequently, what we keep hearing about them making a lot of money, you know, through certain means, you know, that are not legitimate. Okay. We're supposed to empower the youth, let them be entrepreneurs, they can make some money for themselves to be able to keep up and so on. But then in the quest to do that, yes, are we also not to be sure that we're not redirecting them negatively?
Okay, maybe I can add a little to it. The same effort that they use to do the negative things can also be channeled to do positive things. So for instance, if somebody has learned how to swindle somebody so far as money laundering is concerned, the same effort can also be put in a positive direction. So for instance, under the 1 Million program, Coders program, we are training you, giving you professional certification, certifying you that you are this. Okay, and through that certification, you can still do that same work for an enterprise and charge good money. All right, but maybe the person learned that if I want money, the best thing I can do is maybe hijack somebody's WhatsApp account and then take money from the person and so on. But that person has not been tuned to the positives, what he can use the skills to do. That is why I started by saying that if we concentrate on the positives, it is best to us. Because irrespective, even if you teach somebody the good thing, some other people will still think of doing the bad thing. Okay? So I am of the opinion that it should be positive, positive, positive. Yes, you are using the skill to do bad things, but we are telling you that those skills can be rechanneled to do good things and you earn the same amount of money.
Okay. Dr. Iroka, let's get your opinion, and then I'll come back to Professor Heto. Yes, you're also a lawyer, and if you can take it from the legal side.
All right, so thank you. So my personal opinion is this. The world is not waiting for us to do a catch-up before new things come up. And so in as much as we need to do the basics, and I would always go that the basics must be done. But at the same time, we need to put in systems that check to minimize the potential negatives, the harmful effects that technology AI is bringing along. Because as you think the good, you need to also think the bad. And if you can think the bad, it gives you opportunity to think about how do you may not be able to eliminate it completely, but you can put in systems that will check it and minimize it. And sometimes all you need is some level of advocacy and awareness creation. And people can become aware and avoid some of these traps that they fall into. And generally, I think that I have done works in schools, and it saddens my heart. You go to a school, and like Doc is saying, common electricity. It's not, and the children are sitting under something that is, they are really sweating. The teacher gives an assignment every 30 minutes, at least he catches some quick breath out there, but the children remain there under the heat. And so we need to put the basics in place. And that is a shared responsibility. Of course, the state must take the lead role. But we need to also make sure that those who have taken the lead, we are guiding them to take advantage. Because even right here, I was surprised in a rural community in the central region where not a single computer was found in a school, where the teachers had no knowledge about the kind of things we were talking about. There was a boy in class 4 who already understood coding, who was already doing coding. And you ask him, how did you learn about it? He said, well, I heard about it, and I decided to learn, so I've been using my brother's smartphone every day after school. And class 4. And I thought he was just bragging. But we decided to test his knowledge, and here he was. He really understood what he was talking about. So people like that, it's not everybody who has been left behind. Everybody is making an effort to fit within the global conversation. And we must put in systems to make sure that we are guided by it. And every state, if you look at the literature around AI, there is this whole conversation around geopolitical dominance. And so nations are investing hugely into AI infrastructure, just so that people can be at the frontier of knowledge, frontier of a generation. And so as a country, we don't even have an AI framework that is even guiding what we are doing. So everybody is doing it, and we will always come up later to do a catch-up. And so it is important that, yes, let's look at all these things, but we need to put in the systems in place that guides what we can do and what we cannot do.
Prof, can you take it legally? Are we working at getting a framework, AI framework?
Yes, there is some work being done, I think being supported by UNESCO. But because we've signed up to some of these international treaties, UNESCO is having a framework for AI for teachers, for students, and even for research. So if ours is not yet ready, we can always fall on those frameworks and use. But generally, what I think that we need to do is to integrate ethics across all our teaching and learning. We shouldn't we shouldn't focus too much on the technology. Now what we need at this time is about ethics. Because if we are strong with the ethical issues, then we are good to go. Then we will not even be talking about the negative use. And the laws are there. As far back 1960, the criminal laws are there. They are strong. They are biting. But the issue is about ethics. As Ghanaians, we love to cover people and protect people. But within the digital space, you cannot always be hiding. There is a log for everything. There is a log for whatever we do. So what I'm thinking is that whether it is English, whether it is Ghanaian language or whatever it is, we should have what we call planned repetition, such that the ethical issues are dealt with. So that if I'm not supposed to visit a site, I will not do that. I will not wait for someone to be watching over me before I tell myself that I don't need to. So like what my brother Fred spoke about, we need to integrate whatever we want to see in the future. And I'm happy 1 million coders are taking the lead. So that if you are a hacker, we will develop you to become an ethical hacker. So that in terms of using your energies negatively, we will use it positively. Like at the Digital Youth Village, we are going to introduce a program that we've borrowed from Tallinn University. That is digital learning games. You realize that we have a lot of young people involved in a lot of games. And sometimes they use it negatively, but I can tell you games, what we are trying to do is what we call the serious games. And it will involve psychologists, it will involve designers, it will involve computer scientists. So a group, a team will come together to build games. And what we seek to achieve is to even digitize some of our indigenous games like Ampe and all that. So you can imagine the kind of revenue, the kind of work that we are going to create. Now, South Africa and Nigeria, they lead in terms of these games, which are not even serious games, academic games. And Ghana, we are also doing well. We rake in some money, but we can do better than these countries. So I feel ethics is the issue now. That is what we need to hammer on. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Okay, so Dr. Ayirikwa, I'm going to come to you again because I wanted us to get an understanding from, I was hoping to get the Honorable Deputy Agric Minister here to give us an insight into opportunities in agriculture. But then since Nkebum also has something that works around agriculture, yes, right. If you can educate us on opportunities thereof.
All right, thank you. And so I just want to paint a picture for you to have the context. Globally, we have, according to FAO, 2025 report on hunger, over 720 million people were hungry as at 2024. Now, when you come to Africa, we have over 307 million people. So the global numbers are 8.8%, but Africa, it increases to about over 20% who were hungry in 2024. Now, when you come to Ghana, over 2 million people were hungry as at 2024. And out of that, 1 million people or more were severely malnourished. Now, you take this picture and it's alarming. At the same time, the production that we have as a country, about 30 to 40% of everything we produce is lost to post-harvest losses or food waste. So in one breath, we are hungry. In another breath, that's if you're hungry, it means you don't have enough to eat, right? But in another breath, you are producing, but you are losing nearly 40% of everything you are producing. And we have a lot of young people who come out of our high schools, tertiary institutions year on year. And unemployment remains a major challenge for this country. Yet, if you take the agricultural and food system value chain, several opportunities exist within that value chain. When you take just one activity, there are several chains that one can draw out of that. And so based on this, the Nkabom Collaborative together is a collaborative because University of Ghana is working with other institutions like Ashesi University. We are working with KNUST. We are working with University of Environment and Sustainable Studies. We are working with UHAS in the Volta region. We are working also with KTU, Koforidua Technical University, and we have an industry partner, which is Association of Ghana Industries. And all we are trying to do is to try and solve unemployment issue from different angles, but focusing on food systems. So we at the University of Ghana, we operate on 3 main pillars. And the idea is that we need to first do mind shifting for young people to appreciate that agriculture today is not what you used to know it to be. Because we've gone past the slash and burn and hoe and cutlasses. There's so much potential in agriculture. And I'm sure, I don't know whether the 1 million coders is looking at agri-tech, and it aligns very much with what Digital Youth Village is doing. There are people who are specialized in working around technology in agriculture. That is a huge potential. There are people who are doing issues around processing, issues around transportation, issues around food waste. All of these are potentials that exist. But a good thing when it comes to agriculture is that nothing goes waste. Even when the thing is a waste, it can become an input for something else that can be produced. And with this mindset, we bring young people on board. We have developed a lot of what we call short courses, where we get them together to expose them to practical hands-on on how you can actually do it. So, for example, I lead one of the sub-objectives, which is education, and currently we have over 30 short courses. Last year, when we started with vegetable production, there is a place on campus here at the University of Ghana where it is called Vegetable Hub of Excellence. And this is vegetable production led by young people, showing the way, and they have support from another organization, MTN Foundation, that is supporting with training. Now we bring them to the University of Ghana for 2 weeks intensive. And every day, they actually are on this field learning how it is done. And after 2 weeks, they build competencies, they build experience, and they also get an opportunity to know how it is marketed. What other potential exists within this particular crop? We are doing this for livestock, and we intentionally tie this to existing programs and opportunities. And we know that, for example, the current administration is championing what it calls in Kokon Kitinkiti. And we know that from experience, these DAOs will be handed over to individuals. We are not interested in who gets them, but we are interested in helping these individuals to get what it takes to turn them not as handouts, but as business opportunities. And so we are building capacity with these livestock opportunities, and we are doing, if you go, for example, my dean will always say, if the wache you enjoy, if the wache seller is an enlightened or educated wache seller, you would get a more healthier wache than potentially you are getting. And so we are working with the dietetics department, for example, building courses for people who are into catering, people who are into selling. And these are opportunities. These days, you don't need the people who are doing some of these businesses are the top masters holders, and you go to the business school, and those who are taking the courses are people who are selling the franchise. And so we are bringing them together and showing the way that the opportunities exist. We are guided also that it is not everybody who have an opportunity to take advantage of all of that we are providing. And so we are intentional in providing a pipeline which support persons with disability, persons who are internally displaced, and the funder is particularly interested in women, young women. And so there's a lot of effort in recruiting young women to get this opportunity. But it doesn't end there. Sometimes when you give all this capacity and experience, the people don't have what it takes to actually be on their own. And so we are also guided that previous experiences, people take gifts, handouts, and then they turn it to something else. And so we have another pillar, which is the entrepreneurship pillar, which then opens the floor for anybody who gets the chance to go through our program or who has started something, already has what it takes and is doing something, to come on board, pitch your idea to us. And we will support you with some money. We say, just take this money, try your idea. Because the guy who is likely to fund you is not ready for try or luck. Is interested in putting the money and their investment into something that has potential. But we know that not every business you bring up would succeed. And so we give you equivalent of $1,000. Try your idea. The idea you're so sure that this thing will work. Take it, show us that indeed your idea has potential. And we'll give you 1,000. Every year we do about 100 people. So last year we did about 100 people got equivalent of $1,000 to try your idea. Just try it. And after a year to 12 to 18 months, those who actually show, we give you opportunity to come and show us what you've been able to do. But we don't leave you on your own. We try to find appropriate mentors for you who are within the space that you are trying to work. And they handhold you, so we pay them. We pay for these mentors to work with you, to refine your ideas. And after a period, when you believe that your idea has gotten to a point of acceleration, we now invite you to come and pitch your idea for a higher opportunity. And we give people equivalent of about $3,000 to $10,000 equivalent to now accelerate your idea. And each year, we are hoping to do about 50 of such ideas each year for over a 5-year period. And so this is what Nkabom is looking at. But ultimately, what we want to achieve, we want to, by virtue of building capacity, create opportunity for a lot of these young people who come out of school with no skill set to enhance their chances of being employed. That's number one. Number two, those who can move these ideas into potential businesses, entrepreneurial opportunities, we support you to create the jobs and be able to help employ other people who also need jobs. But all of these must work within the agri-food systems. So that is what we are doing, and we are just 1 year old in a 10-year journey that we have begun.
Right. I must say that you really took advantage of your... because I was actually asking you about agriculture and how you factor your project in. But you've been very elaborative about that, because my next line of question was going to give you the opportunity for all of you, your individual entities, and tell us about the projects that you're undertaking. So, yeah, let me get to you, Mr. Yabua.
All right. So the 1 Million Coders program is a special initiative and strategic by His Excellency the President. And the implementing agency is the Ghana India Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT. The main goal of this project is to train and equip 1 million Ghanaians, especially the youth, in coding, digital innovation and entrepreneurship, with the aim of creating jobs and technology entrepreneurship, but also to strategically position Ghana such that it will lead in the knowledge economy and the global economy as well. What we have done so far last year is to do the pilot. And in the pilot, we train about 1,000 people in 4 regions: Ashanti, Greater Accra, Bono, and Upper East. And the kind of programs that we have are in the areas of AI, web programming, networking, and then we have special programs in areas like business process outsourcing. Because the idea is not to train the people to work only in country, but to train them so that they can get remote jobs. So as part of the training, people are provided with the skill to be able to do remote jobs as well. And I think gaming was mentioned here. It's also an area that we are concentrating on because it has the potential. And one good thing about this program is that all the training programs that we've come out with, they are benchmarked with internationally recognized certifications. So for those who did the networking, when you complete, you have to do the certificate of completion with Cisco and get the certificate of completion with Cisco, and then you get a discount to go and write the professional certification. So are we doing with all the technology giants. We are talking with Google, who has promised to help us in training 100,000 people. We are talking with AWS, who is going to help in training some numbers. But for this year, our target is 300,000. Already we have spoken with all the public universities. So we are going to use the facilities of the public universities and all their learning centers in country, because we are about to do the national rollout in March. And as part of it, we are also training about 1,000 Ghanaians who are going to be instructors in all these areas. So it's not going to be done by only the Kofi Annan instructors, no. We are going to put out a call for instructors, and those instructors will also be trained and oriented as to how we want this program to be done. The kind of programs we have are in varied levels. We have basic level, we have intermediate, and then we have professional level. And one good thing is that we have also introduced a program like fiber splicing that doesn't require any knowledge in IT, because we want to cater, it's inclusive, it should be inclusive as much. So we are catering for people who have not been in school before but want to do something in the IT ecosystem. So when it comes to laying of fiber and things like that, we are also coming out with a training certification for such people so that they can gain employment with the MTNs and all the telcos. Again, what we are doing is to also set up a learning platform. Okay, so all the content that we are going to generate will be put on this platform. So whether you are part of the 1 million coders or not, you can go to the national learning platform and then educate yourself in any technology that you find useful. And just this morning, by listening to the first panel, I heard more about training of teachers, training of teachers, training of teachers. It's something that I'm taking along. We need to work with the teaching associations to figure out what are the skills need so that we can also create opportunity for the teachers. But for the training, we have 3 time slots. That is the plan we have now: morning, afternoon, and evening. And the evening is most of the time targeting working class. Okay, so for instance, for the teachers, after you finish your teaching everything, in the evening, you can hop on to one of the programs that we will be bringing to your doorsteps. Now, the strategy is that we will start with the public universities. That is about 16. And then the next stage within this year, we will go to the polytechnics, which is about the technical universities. And then finally, we descend to the district level to the CICs. And you all bear with me that in a program such as this, you need time to really plan on the logistics aspect. So after the launch and after the pilot, that is what we have been up to. But I can confidently tell you that in March, you will see us in all the regions roll out. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. I look at my time and I realize that we have very limited time. I would love to give the audience the opportunity to ask 1 or 2 questions. But then, Mr. Akwe, I would like to hear from you too. After which, Professor Heto, I think you have some 2-minute video to show us. And then I'll come to you, the audience, if you have some questions to give us. Meanwhile, our reps from Stalin, please stand by to tell us what it's all about. Okay, so Mr. Akwe, please.
So with the Jumatech, what we do is primarily around data annotation. Now, when you take this whole AI thing, the most effective models are supervised learning models. In simple terms, somebody has to look at a picture and say, this is a cat. And then we feed it into a model. This is not really a complicated process and can easily be leveraged on by anybody who can read and write. So what we do is we provide training for the youth, and then we then find contracts outside of Ghana with the big tech companies that need this kind of data annotation. And then we provide that service for them. On the other hand, too, we also plan on training and building capacity in different data roles or AI roles, from data engineering, data analysts, data scientists, so that people are not just limited to doing data annotation, but they can transition into roles where they are actually working in the AI field. We also do AI consulting for local companies and foreign companies, and also we are trying to set up a research unit. I think primarily that's because of my research background. So we're trying to set up a research unit where we will collaborate locally with researchers in Ghana and perhaps even outside Ghana to
be able to provide our version of solutions to problems in the AI domain. One current project we are working on is with language translation. Almost everybody that does language translation does it from a perspective of text to text. I could be wrong, but the average Ghanaian that can read and write in Twi can also read and write in English. Most people can't read and write in a local language. But because the technologies are built by people that don't understand our context, they always do translation from text to text. Whereas a better solution will be audio translation. So that the market woman, when you go to her and speak in English, it's translated automatically to Twi to them. I feel like that's a much more useful route. It could be helped in education. Imagine a community health nurse who grew up in Accra and has been transported to the north, right? I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Imagine someone growing up in Accra as a community health nurse, taken to the northern part of the Volta region. They may not be able to speak the language, but they can speak English. They speak English into a tool, and it's translated to audio. I can't remember the word. Any local language. So that's actually something we are working on. We have actually collected the data, annotated it, and we are working on the models that will work it. And hopefully before the end of this year, we will release them as open source solutions. Why are we going with open source? This allows everybody to contribute to it. So that's one thing we are working on. But our goal is to build solutions that are relevant for Ghanaians. Because a lot of times when research is being done in Silicon Valley or Europe or whatever, there is no malice in it. They just don't know your problem. So how do they solve your problem? And we have a lot of brilliant researchers here locally from the math background, the statistics background, everything. One of our goals is to build a network of researchers that could contribute to this collective thing everybody is excited about AI with the focus of solving our problems. I was really excited when we were talking about some of the things, and I was just asking myself, how can we incorporate technology into it? Because I have a computer science background. When you talk about these logistics things, I think mathematical models, I'm thinking software. How can we get people like that integrated? So those are the kind of things we are looking for. But our core business is data annotation. That brings in the cash, and then you can do all the fancy stuff, because everybody knows research doesn't pay.
I'm interested in the one that brings in the cash. Okay. So, Prof, if your video is ready, let's see a playback, and then you can speak to it.
So as before you watch the video, so one key thing we also want to do is to protect the ideas of young people. Most of the time, young people are very innovative, but people do take advantage of their innovations. So technology transfer and protection is key on our agenda. So I don't want to bore you talking so much about the Digital Youth Village and Center for Digital Youth Development. We are going to show you a 2-minute video, and you realize that everyone is interested in the Digital Youth Village.
The Digital Youth Village, DYV, is a transformative initiative by the University of Ghana in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the Digital Youth Village, DYV, is a transformative initiative by the University of Ghana in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization to accelerate Ghana's digital transformation under the Digital Ghana Agenda. DYV will serve as a center of excellence for digital entrepreneurship, innovation, and education, bridging academia and industry to develop a future-ready workforce. Situated on 5.07 acres of land adjacent to the Hatso Bypass Road, Legon, the DYV will feature a modern, technology-driven campus with world-class facilities such as autonomous thematic blocks dedicated to specialized fields of digital technology and agriculture, finance, retail, health, and education. A 2,000-seater auditorium for conferences, innovation summits, and digital exhibitions. Technology laboratories equipped for practical training in Industry 4.0 technologies. Digital libraries and collaborative workspaces. Startup incubation centers supporting young innovators with mentorship and investment. An administrative and reception block. The Digital Youth Village is set to revolutionize the digital landscape and drive long-term economic development by creating an inclusive, technology-enabled space for learning, entrepreneurship, and industry engagement. Welcome to the Digital Youth Village, Ghana's hub for digital innovation and entrepreneurship. The Digital Youth Village, DYV, is a transformative initiative by the University of Ghana in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance.
Yeah, so it's for Ghanaians, and it doesn't matter whether you are educated or not. This is not just a video, it's actually on the ground, upcoming. We hope to complete the building within the year, and then we start operations from there. But we have actually started work. We've developed programs and all that. So let's all get on board. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. I guess that we'll eat a little bit into the next item, which is a lunch break. Just a little bit. Yes, I'd like to invite Mr. Mick Kasisalk, Strategic Manager, Tallinn University, Estonia. If you can please mount the podium for me. Yes. Can we pass over the microphone to him? After which we'll hear from Ms. Annette Elkin.
Okay, so I think I'll start with the words which usually are given me by my system administrators at university when I'm going to them and telling that I would like to digitalize something. And they say that first you need to figure out the processes and tasks on the ground before you digitalize, because if you have mess and you digitalize it, you have digitalized mess, which won't help you much. So this is first I would like to start with and emphasize that digitalization is just a tool. It's helping us when we lack staff or we want things to be quicker and more efficient, but it's a reflection of something real happening in enterprises, at organizations, in a country. So things happening on ground need to be solved first, and then they can be digitalized. When we come up with the topics you also pointed out, I think the key issue, and it's the key issue in Estonia as well, is how knowledge is transferred from universities, where it's created usually, to the economy or to the society or to organizations. And these mechanisms are really important, because what you were talking about here today are mostly informal ways of developing things, doing your own initiatives, and informal projects need to step up if the formal systems are not working. And I guess this is the case in Estonia as well, that there are several initiatives in educations which are led by entrepreneurs, edtech companies, which fill in the gaps which formal systems cannot fill. And but in Estonia we've understood that you need to bring the formal system on board, because if you leave it up to the informal systems only, it won't sustain, because the organizations which deal with solving things have new problems coming in, and they leave the old solutions behind, and maybe those are the things which formal system could use more sustainably for a longer time of period. And I think also maybe to reflect on what you mentioned here before about the 1 million coders. Estonia also initiated this coding school for people who did not have previous education in coding, or it was not a university program. It was for everyone who could pass the exams and show their motivation to learn coding. And we opened like 3 or 4 of them around Estonia, and their main purpose was to teach the simpler steps of the coding, so you could start as a junior position in a coding company. And now, I think it has lasted for 3 or 4 years, when the AI came in a big leap, then all those jobs which were prepared our youth or people for actually did not exist anymore. No, we understood that we need now those senior developers who design and the architects who design the systems, who actually have more in-depth understanding of the information system and coding. So those simpler kinds of jobs actually disappeared and were replaced by AI tools which help you coding what you need. So this is also as this field is developing so quickly, so you always need to adapt to what's happening, otherwise you will lag behind or have solutions for yesterday's problems which you don't need anymore. So I don't know. I think this is it from me at the moment, and if you have any questions, I can.
Right. Thank you very much, Mick. Annette? Annette Sixuber, yes. Annette Elkin is actually a senior specialist of the International Corporation from Tallinn University, Estonia.
Hi, everybody. In order to not repeat what my colleague Mick was just saying, I wanted to perhaps share some, talk about some projects as perhaps inspiration and just, also promotion for what we have been doing, what we've been doing with our Ghanaian partners, and then some other projects that Estonia is doing that, again, could perhaps spark some ideas. But with our Ghanaian partners, we have actually, Tallinn University has collaborated with University of Ghana and some other universities here for quite some time now. We've had a long-lasting Erasmus mobility partnership with University of Ghana. We have collaborated in many fields, including digital technologies, educational technology, jointly developing programs, introducing project-based learning programs here and in different learning centers of University of Ghana. In addition to that, we recently wrapped up a project with University of Education Winneba and University of Cape Coast. It was about online tuition in Ghana, especially when COVID hit. It was very relevant. It was a European Commission funded project. The result of the project was to develop policy framework for ICT integration into teaching and learning at the both Ghanaian partner universities. And I believe they are planning to continue similar partnerships. Another project that we are in the middle of applying for funding for is with University of Ghana. It is the Center of Excellence in Digital Technology and Educational Innovation, which could largely contribute to the Digital Youth Village initiative as well, which will include research, training, digital innovation projects and activities, curriculum development. Professor Ahetom mentioned the digital learning games as one of the postgraduate programs that we would like to bring here as well. So these are some projects that we are already working on that we are very, very proud of, and we will definitely continue. But outside of what we are already doing with University of Ghana and other partners here, there are some other initiatives in Estonia that we feel that could be adapted or at least taken inspiration from in Estonia. One of them is called Latitude 59. I believe some of the University of Ghana colleagues have met the team in Estonia. Latitude 59 is a startup and tech conference in Estonia, and it also has satellite events in Singapore and in Nairobi. And it is essentially a big conference where startups can meet with potential investors. There is a pitch competition, and over the past, I believe, 3 years, the startups have secured over 20 million euros in investments at the main event in Estonia. I'm not sure about the numbers at the satellite events, but actually the event that now they've done twice in Nairobi is actually targeting several slightly similar problems that have been mentioned here, such as youth unemployment, and there it is actually tackling that to encourage this entrepreneurial, very innovative young group of people to establish companies in educational technologies, agri-tech, etc. So we have talked about with our Ghanaian partners that could we also adapt a similar idea and bring that to the Digital Youth Village or other programs. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, or you can also find me during the rest of the day here. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so very much. Shall we once again appreciate our panelists? Okay, so before we invite your questions, I think that I'll stand in as a moderator and a panelist and tell you about opportunities that there are in the industry that I'm coming from, the creative arts. As you may be aware, the Creative Arts Agency was established in 2020 by an Act of Parliament 1048. to regulate the creative industry. And when we're talking about the creative arts, generally people have the perception that it's just about film, fashion, and music. But there's a lot more. The domains, the associations, the enterprises that fall under the creative arts is huge. It's such a huge community. Literary art, visual arts, architecture, sculpture, weaving, fine arts, book publishing, poetry, dressmaking, barbering, everything, television, DJing, everything, radio, painting, whatever. I mean, it's a huge community. Now, starting from this year, each and every enterprise under the creative industry will be registered and licensed. So we get a complete data of what we're dealing with, so that if there is any help that would have to be given out to you, you're not treated as an alien. Now, at the point when you're going to register your company, you would have, before your business commencement certificate, you would have to have a certificate from the Creative Arts Agency, a license, to be able to tell that you're genuinely into the creative business. It is so broad. I initially thought that we watch cartoons at home and that's it. I didn't know that this was $1 billion industry. I was invited by the French embassy to go and see things for myself. Every year, there's an animation and film festival in a city called Annecy. It's huge business. This, what I saw, I'd never seen before, and I'm never, ever going to underestimate anybody's business. What I think, what we thought was cartoon was much more than even the film industry that we know about from what we saw. And so they invited me for me to have a first-hand information of what's going on there, so I can go and relay it to my ministry and government for that matter for their support. Because if you looked at the booth of the Ghanaians, I think they took about 30 Ghanaians, and they were just in a 10 by 10 booth, crammed in there, exhibiting what they can show. Compared to, let's say, our friend in Nigeria, they had a sprawling area. And yet, I'm told that for about 7 years running, for each participation, the Ghanaians win awards and Nigerians win nothing. And so they want me to go and see what they're capable of doing and the kind of support that we would get from government. So yes, there are a lot of opportunities. There will be a massive education on what Creative Arts Agency does, so you all get to appreciate it. The website will be open, so if you're tech savvy, you can do all the applications on the website, or you can walk into our offices and be helped whichever way. So the opportunities there, massive. Recently, you may have heard that the president had voted in the budget 20 million Ghana cedis as seed money for the Creative Arts Fund. Note that Ghana Tourism Authority has a fund, the Tourism Development Fund, from levies they collect from little businesses that go on in their industry. It's the same thing. 1% levy on each transaction by every enterprise, and it goes into that fund to come back and take care of the creatives. Now, taking care of the creatives means startup, capital injection, or whatever form of help you need. Or if, let's say, even if it's welfare, that fund is there to take care of it. So these are opportunities for the youth. It's a very, very youthful area. These are opportunities that there are as well. So I think you may have heard from our panelists, we have heard from Stalin. And so the floor is now open for you. If we can get a microphone or two to the floor. We're inviting your your questions, address it to any of the panelists, please. Can somebody help me here? Let's have one microphone. Yes, please. Okay. Let's start off with the gentleman in the green.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Jonathan Yelfari. And in fact, with the question I'm about to ask, I would like if each panel can attend to it based on what you are doing. And it's a simple thing. I want to know, I'm from Jirapa in the Upper West region. So if there is a young person, there is someone growing up, a child, a student, who want to take advantage of each project that each person is doing, how do we take advantage of that project? How do we become involved in the work you are doing? Because if you look at where I am in Greater Accra, if there is no system to send a project there, we are cut off from whatever you are discussing here. So I want to know how we over there can access.
Okay,
yes.
Right, you want specific assurance. Okay, let's take another question. Yes.
My question is on.
Please note the questions.
All the things that you have spoken about are in your various areas, but we are in the campus of the University of Ghana. What are we doing in academia to ensure that even before we leave university, we have a certain knowledge, a certain practicality, a certain skill to work with? Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, please. Please raise your hand. Let him.
Okay, thank you very much. My question is simple and it goes to all of them. What solutions, with respect to your experience, would you prefer to address the mismatch between education and the job market needs? Thank you.
Okay. So, Prof, you would take the last one. Yes. Fred, yes. Why don't you take Jirapa? Yes. And then, Doc, take the academia question. So, yes, let's start with Prof.
Okay, so Digital Youth Village is the answer to actually all the questions that they are. Because we are working with governments, we are working with industry, and we are also working with the academia. So that is the solution. If we all don't come together to design programs, we will still be repeating all the things we used to do. So you wanted solution, is that not it? Yeah, so the Digital Youth Village framework is to involve all these, we call it the tripartite approach. So if it's about teaching, we have teachers, the curriculum designers on board. And if it is about policy, we have the ministry, so that when the issues go there, they understand and then they pass it. And then if it is about academia, we have them there. So we are using the tripartite approach, academia, industry, and policy. Because all along, we've all been accusing ourselves. Industry says, academia, we don't come to them. Academia, we also say that, well, you also don't come to us.
All right, so thank you, Kafri. So for every institution, every university or academic environment have its mandate. And there are a lot of programs that are accredited to be run in these universities or tertiary institutions. Here at the University of Ghana, each program has to go through an accreditation process. And I'm just going through a process of submitting for an accreditation, a PhD program that we've developed. And it's a requirement that you need to engage with industry partners and you need to show proof that indeed this has taken place. And so we, from where I sit and what I do, we have had to engage a number of partners that our learners or our students can actually go and have experiential opportunities with them. And our PhD that we just developed has inbuilt practical session. And that is what I think gradually the university is doing, to incorporate practical sessions into every graduate program. Of course, I don't do too much with undergraduate, but put in that as a systemic activity that by the time you leave, these are the kind of competencies we want you to have. And you can have this with this particular kind of exposure and experiential learning. And so it is something that, yes, maybe it wasn't very, it's been always been there, but maybe it wasn't adhered to in the past, but there's a lot of conscious effort that is being made now to make sure that our students are not just going through a theoretical knowledge acquisition, but they're actually getting hands-on experience that allows them to be able to engage. In fact, if you are doing a PhD at the University of Ghana, you have a whole 6-month to 1 year experiential learning opportunity, which is part of the curriculum. You are supposed to go out there. Graduate program is becoming mandatory for you to have that sort of industry exposure, so that you are not just writing anything based on theory, but you are actually identifying problems and contributing to addressing the problem. But I get the point you are making. I interface a lot with industry partners, and I hear a lot of the concerns. One of the things we are doing at Inkabom is that we are creating an opportunity for people to have experiential internship opportunities. And so at the moment, it doesn't matter whether you are undergraduate or graduate student, as long as you fall within the age bracket that we are working with, that is not above 35 years. We annually open opportunity for people to have apply to go have internships, and we place them. So we are actually having opportunity with UNICEF and FAO and a number of Ghanaian-based industry, because don't forget we work with AGI. So they have enrolled or brought on board a number of their partners who are willing to receive interns. And what we do is that we actually, what we call it paid internship. So the burden of payment is not on the industry, it's rather on us. So we pay for these interns to go and have hands-on experience. That way you are sure that the interns will have what it takes to engage, and the industries will get free labor, more or less, to some extent. And so it's a win-win situation for us, and that's what we are doing. Let me just briefly touch on the Jirapa. I love Jirapa Dubai, you know. Yeah. So one of the things we are doing is also the fact that, yes, we know that the funder or our funder, Mastercard Foundation, is not going to measure us by how many training we organize. He's not measuring us by how many workshops we organize, but how many jobs we create and the impact. So we are looking more of impact than just check the box. And so we are being intentional in identifying people who are really serious in doing something and enhancing their potential, their skill set. And so we are decentralizing the kind of things we are doing. So we are not just working in Accra. I know we took some of the work to Cape Coast to engage with people from Chifuhima, Lower Dentra area who were busy, formed a cooperative and doing something for themselves to provide that sort of capacity for them to do what they are doing. And we are being intentional to also make sure that we are providing the kind of logistics, the resources they need to move to the next level. And so Jirapa Upper West is really high on my table, and we are actually coming there with Inkabom. So look out for us.
So Jirapa, you have an assurance before before Mr. Freddie Ware even speaks. Okay. Can we add up to the assurance?
Yes, Jirapa, here we come. So the 1 million coders program is a national initiative. The reason why it has delayed for the national takeoff is to make sure that at least we hit each region before the national rollout kicks in. So for sure, we are coming. But again, the training that we offer are in two modes: face-to-face and then virtual, online. So even if you don't have the face-to-face option, the online version, we will make sure that, you know, those in Jirapa are also selected. Of course, the selection will be based on a transparent kind of basis. So sure. Again, for the 1 million coders, in areas where you don't have universities and things like that, training institutions that are there, our target is to build the capacity of the instructors there to be able to deliver the training. So whatever the cases, every district of this country will experience 1 Million Coders program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any further questions? Okay.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. My name is Mercy Pavra, and I'm coming from Ahafo region, Esunafo South District Assembly to be precise. My question goes to Dr. Hayford, the Nkabo project. The 1 million coders, they have made us understand that they will roll out to all the regions. But with the Nkabo project, we don't know whether you also intend to roll out to all the regions, because in your earlier submission, you said you will be supporting at least 100 people, if I stand to be corrected, if I'm right. And then your aim is to support young people, especially persons with disabilities and young girls. So my question is, what efforts are you making to reach out to all the regions? Because your project is aimed at helping people to come out with ideas, so that and get new, be able to establish, be self-reliant. So do you intend to reach out to all the regions, especially remote areas where people also have ideas that they would want to build on to be self-reliant? Thank you very much.
Very well. Yeah, there's a hand here.
Okay, just a simple, straightforward question. Please, could you explain what the Coders is all about? Thank you.
Okay. Yes. One more at the back.
Ebenezer Apaboni, Principal, Piki College of Education. With regards to the 1 million coders, the presenter said that they would train the universities, train the technical universities. What about the colleges of education in Ghana? We have 46 colleges of education in Ghana who train teachers. And so we will have to look at it. Thank you.
Mr. Ebo, I guess we'll start with you. Yes, you've been taken on. Yes.
So the colleges of education is also part of the technical universities I mentioned. Sorry, I didn't made it explicit. In terms of the 1 million coders program, this concept is training in coding, digital skills. Okay, and also our friend here mentioned about agriculture. One of the our partners has approached us that they want special digital skills program for farmers. So such programs can also be taken on the 1 million coders and trained. So far as it has some digital skills in, okay, it falls under the 1 million coders program. All right. And the programs that we have developed, they are not end in itself. Every 6 months, we are going to review based on industry demand and also based on Ghanaians' request for skills. So every 6 months, new programs will come out based on demand. So every 6 months, we are going to do a survey to ask questions, the kind of skills people want to go in, teachers, farmers, all that, okay? And then once we are certain that when we roll out the program, we will get people that will come in, we will roll it, okay? So when we say the 1 million coders, that is the name of the initiative, but it doesn't mean that everybody is going to code. Digital skills is also part, right? Thank you.
Okay, so let me help him. How would you explain to me? I'm a layperson, I have no idea, nothing. The code, if the code you're even talking about, I don't know what it is. How would you explain to me, for me to be able to explain to somebody like me?
Okay, so you need digital skills to be able to do something in the digital ecosystem. Okay, so for instance, tourism, you may need some skills. Okay, using computers and computing devices, even the use of drones, okay, to fulfillment falls under that. Okay, so if we have demand at some point in time that the Ministry of Tourism or the Tourism Authority wants this skill for those in the tourism industry, you approach us, we are going to sit with you, an industry expert, and come out with a program that suits their need, and then it will be covered under the 1 million coders program. All
So
right.
can you give us examples of people who can come to you?
Okay, so basically, it's all sectors. But what we are going to do is, when we are rolling out the call for application, we are going to tie programs to locations. So for instance, at the University of Ghana campus, when we come here, and we have 2 locations, based on the demand, we can say we are running cybersecurity and Microsoft Power BI. Okay, so anyone who wants to do cybersecurity and Power BI from March to June, you select the course. From July to September, there will be different courses that are coming that people will also apply. So we will open the application platform every, say, quarter for people to apply. Okay, so when we open, that is where you will see the courses that are coming. But we also have a website that will give information as to upcoming courses so that you can at least plan and know when the course is coming and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Are we clear? Okay. Doc, it's not for need your attention.
Yeah, so to start with, selection into our programs, all we need is your willingness to join. It's usually open to everybody, irrespective of which part of the country you are in. And depending on what we are running at a particular time, we've had people come all the way from Tamale to come and join. We've had people come from Takoradi. We've had people from Sunyani come in. They saw it on our socials. They applied. They were selected. And in fact, whenever we see somebody coming outside of the major cities, we're excited. And they tend to get a softer spot in terms of selection into our programs. But that said, we are also making effort to decentralize. To run a program in any place is not just about bringing it there. Because our programs are practical, hands-on, there are a number of factors we take into consideration. Are we going to have a facility that meets our minimum criteria? Because we are also trying to show what it should look like. And so we need to have a facility that we can partner with to provide that hands-on experiential learning to our participants. So if we cannot get that, then it's difficult to say we are coming to that particular locality. And 2, we need to also have people who are interested in enrolling onto the program within that enclave. And because we like to keep people together and work together, build partnership, build collaboration, we also look for facilities that we can house them. So we don't want you to come and we are starting at 8 a.m. Somebody say, and then I didn't get a car and a cocoa salad delayed in coming. So we house you, we feed you, we do everything for you, and your job is to learn and flow with us. And so there are a lot of factors we put into consideration. As long as we're able to check that, then we are happy to come and run it in your area. And so I'm happy to engage further. But for Jirapa, we've done some work already in that area. That is why I can confidently say that there we come.
Okay. Let's have a last set of questions if there are any. Okay. I see a hand at the far back. Please raise your hand. Let him locate you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. This may have been asked already, but for the coders program, do you have any requirements? Like you should have mathematics, something in all those things, which I think in the end doesn't really matter. Do you have that for those who are coming to learn how to code? If you have that, my suggestion is that you shouldn't. Yes. You shouldn't, because honestly speaking, and you should find ways of even people who don't have those skills. You should find ways of letting them on.
Okay.
And learning. Otherwise, if you put those, D7 in maths, D6 in something, you are going to eliminate a lot of people. Thank you.
I get you. The requirements, in fact, before you apply to the program, there is an aptitude test that you take. That is basic. Yeah.
There is an aptitude test.
Yeah. Oh, listen to me. It's basic maths and English. It's basic maths and English. And I can assure you, everyone in this room will pass. So that is the requirement, okay? Now, for those who have not been to school before, I did mention here, we have some programs for such people. Okay. They don't need to go through the aptitude test. If you are going to lay fiber, you don't need aptitude test. So we have different programs and their requirement. I did also mention that we have entry level, intermediate, and advanced. So if we roll out the advanced program, you will be required to know some things before you can jump in. Otherwise, if you jump in, you wouldn't know anything. So we have for each of the categories, web programming, networking, cybersecurity, and so on, we have entry-level programs where you don't require anything to enter because we know you want to maybe create a career path in that area. So when you come for the entry level and you do well, then you continue to intermediate and then you continue to the advanced. Opportunities are there like that. But for the sake of making sure that there are opportunities for everyone, when you enter the program, say quarter 1, quarter 2, you will not be allowed in so that others can also take the opportunity. But quarter 3, you can come back and do other levels, intermediate and so on. And note this program is up to 2028. Okay, so we have a long time for everyone to be able to go through the entire to be a professional if you want to. I think it answers the question. In fact, when we were doing the pilot and we opened the platform for application, only for 3 weeks, we had 150,000 applications. As I speak to you now, I still have 149,000 people waiting for the national rollout. And I know when I open, more people will apply. So if you want to be part of it, as soon as we open, please do apply. There is also quota for women, persons with disability. So those who will be doing the selection, we will select the women first. We will select the women first and then persons with disability before the men. The Honorable Minister did mention that this year, whatever the case is, we have to train, I think 50,000. 50,000. So it is a deliberate effort to make sure that women and persons with disability are also included in this initiative. Thank you.
Very well. Yes. Okay. There's one here. Okay, so let's take that and then we'll come to the lady here. Okay, there's a gentleman here in front.
Yes, mine was going to be a follow-up, which is still directed to the coders. So what's the future? I mean, you train all these people, and what plans do you have for them? Thank you.
That's a very beautiful question. Okay, let's turn by here. Yes, Mr. What takes it?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, let's take the questions that you can answer, please. Please go ahead.
Okay, so thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Daniel. Great. Also with the coders, I want to find out about something, especially with the age range. I pick an information. I think one of the panelists spoke about something about up to 35 years for one of the programs. So especially with the coders, those of us who are possibly above 35 years and we are interested in such programs, is there any package for us?
Okay.
Thank you.
That's noted. All right. All the way here. Please raise your hand. Let him identify you. Okay. Okay. Please go ahead. Okay, after him.
Thank you. My name is Yidana. I'm not yet a professor, so I'm hoping to be a professor one day. And that's my grandfather over there anyway. When Gideon was talking about his industry, he mentioned that it was established by Art 1048 or the 1047, the creative art industry. In line with what the gentleman asked, all the programs that we've mentioned seems to be heavily politicized or coming out of a political manifesto. What is the future of all these programs after 2028? We've seen all kinds of programs introduced for the youth, and after a change of government, this thing goes down. What's the future of all these programs after 2028? Be it NDC in power or NDC out of power. Thank you very much.
Right. Let me take the political one, and then you can go ahead. I'm a politician, so I can do that. Yes. Act 1048 was established in 2020 by a government that wasn't in power. The current government is proceeding with it. So I guess that governance is continuing. Yes, the era where one person does something, the other person comes, abandons it. So I mean, it's an era that we should put behind us and move on. Yes.
So the digital youth village was actually started during the tenure of the previous government, and this one is supporting it heavily as well. So I think that should be a thing of the past. We academics are not politicians.
Thank you. Mr. Eboa. Yes, so the first question, or the follow-up question was, to what end? Yes, and then if you have an age bracket.
Okay, so for the age bracket, I did mention that this initiative is for all Ghanaians, particularly the youth. So everyone is invited, okay? But if we have something like 2 million applications, we will give much more preference to the youth, okay? And so everyone is invited. Number two, with respect to what is the end game, I have already mentioned that remote jobs is one, okay? Two, all the industries that are in Ghana require some expertise in IT. So we will also look internally. Number three, we are also training them to be entrepreneurs. So when we train you to be able to develop a web application, you can develop it to solve a problem in country, okay? And then make some money out of it. We are also going to look at problems in country, and then we will put people together to come out with solutions. So we are not going to just train you and then you go away. No, it won't happen. For the period that we are going to work on this, even after the training, we will still do follow-ups to see how you are doing, if there are some capacities that you lack, in order to make you much more productive and also set up your business. We will do. I've also heard about our colleagues here, what they are doing. There is also opportunity for us to collaborate with them so that those who are trained can also be passed on to these programs that are running. We also have a partner that is into recruiting for remote jobs. So we are working with such partners. So after the training, we will push the people trained or the graduates to the partner that is into recruiting for remote jobs. And then they will also be finding jobs for them. So the whole idea is jobs. If you don't create your own job, we will find some form of an internship for you. That's the idea behind it.
Okay, thank you very much. I get the signal that our time is up, so let's give you 60 seconds each to sum it up, please.
Well, from my end, Nkabom is not a political activity. It's funded by the MasterCard Foundation, and it's a 10-year project. And so we are likely going to go with different administrations. And we don't intend to end after 10 years. So we have already taken initiatives to make this a life. We are here to stay, basically. We are here to stay. And so I just want to say in conclusion that there is a lot of opportunities for young people in this country. And until I really got a lot deeper into this conversation of food systems and the opportunities within the agri-food value chain, I also used to think otherwise. And I want to encourage every young person who is listening to us that just avail yourself, look out for Nkabom, whether in Legon or anywhere. The opportunities are all over. And we are all trying to address a particular concern. Join the train. It is already a winning train. I've seen dividends already coming up. And this next month, a set of people are going, they've done so well that they are going to South Africa to see what their colleagues are doing, giving them already international exposure. And I think young people can join this and make a difference in the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akwe. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, so, what I see is giving opportunities to human beings, right? For everyone that we train, there is a name to that. So, some people might see it as political. I see it as training fellow Ghanaians so that they will be able to get jobs. And so from the Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT, our focus is to make sure that anybody who goes through this program will be productive in a way. And I believe that if we take this program very seriously, by the end of the 2028 or even earlier, we will see results. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Akwe.
So I'm from the private sector. Private sector is all about making money. So we transcend governments and we are actually under policy, but we transcend government. So the goal and the hope is that we will one day become as big as the Microsofts or the Dells. And imagine a unicorn in Ghana. We have no option but to employ. So for me, my closing remarks are that I do hope that our enterprise becomes the next big thing. And on the other side, pertaining to the youth, what people are calling digital economy, whatever, I put them under applied computer science. The knowledge is out there on the internet, on YouTube or whatever. Get the knowledge for yourself and the opportunities are endless.
Fantastic.
So we can show some results. They are all our collaborators. We have MOU with 1 million coders in Nkabom, our brothers, and then Ejumatech, we have MOU with them. DYV is a national program. It's a national project. So we hope, or we know, no government is coming to pull it down. So young people get on board, and we have intensive opportunities. Well, not directly with DYV for now, but as we speak, we have students in Estonia. We have, yet to go to Estonia. We have some students in Spain and all other, some European countries. So I think we mean business, and let's all come on board. Thank you.
Right, so ladies and gentlemen, from 1 Million Coders Project, Digital Youth Village in Nkabom Project, of course, Ejumatech AI. Shall we please appreciate our panelists? And also to our team from Tallinn University, thank you so very much. And to you for being a wonderful audience. I think you can put a round of applause for yourselves. Yes. We thank you very much. We take a break and wait for the next session. Thank you. Good afternoon.
In collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization, to accelerate Ghana's digital transformation under the Digital Ghana Agenda. DYV will serve as a center of excellence for digital entrepreneurship, innovation, and education, bridging academia academia and industry to develop a future-ready workforce. Situated on 5.07 acres of land
Okay, this
adjacent to the Hot
announcement-
Bypass Road, Lagan. The DYV will feature a modern
Our video team, can you lower the sound for us? Video team, can you please lower the sound for us? So this announcement is to all of us. We're going out for lunch. We'll be back by 1:40 p.m. 1:40 p.m. for our very next session. Thank you very much.
Of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact, and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily